Welcome to California Realty Training. And this is what we're doing for this month. We're going to be going over principles. So this is an introduction class to the principles class. Now, this is an actual class. We're actually going to go through 2 chapters tonight, okay? Now, for those of you who already have, who's already signed up for your first month and you have your portal, congratulations on your new real estate venture. For those of you who have your portal, you'll be able to log into your account access and you'll be able to get 1 module per month. We have 3 modules that we're going to be going through. This month is going to be principles. Next month is going to be finance. And the month after that is going to be practice. Now, to sit in for the real estate exam, you need 3 certificates. You need the 2 requirement, practice and principle, and the third will be your elective, which in this class, it is finance. So the portal will provide you access to the mandatory chapter quizzes. Each chapter will have 10 questions at the end of it, and there will be 3 online course exams. At the end of the course, at the end of the module, you're going to have a module exam, okay, course exam, and that would be for the practice, principles, and finance. So there's going to be 6 lectures per month. We will be meeting on Mondays and Wednesdays, the first 3 weeks of the month. So this is lecture 1. We're going to be going through 2 chapters. Some days we're going to be going through 2 chapters. Some days we're going to be going through 3 chapters. So there'll be weeks where we will have 5 chapters that we're going to go through, and some weeks we're going to have 6. Okay, but there's going to be a 10-question quiz at the end of each chapter, and it's easy, guys. It's open book. Okay, so you want to make sure you do that, and each chapter quiz builds on itself. At the end of the course, you're going to have a final exam for that course, and you do need to have all chapter quizzes completed and passed before you can take your final exam. Now, by the way, the final exam is also open book, all right, which is good. Now, upon passing the 3 online exams, that would be open book again, you will receive the 3 required certificates that will qualify you to sit in for the California DRE exam, the state exam. So you need those 3 certificates. The way you get the 3 certificates, you pass each of the chapter, okay? It has 10 questions, and then from that, then it'll build up and you'll be able to take your final for that course. You need to pass that for you to get your certificates. You need the 3 certificates to sit in for the state exam. All this, how long does it take? It takes 3 months, okay? So for those of you who are starting today, it's July. So July, August, September. By September, you will finish all 3 courses. Okay, now getting started with the California Realty Training. Again, practice, principles, and finance are the training modules. 1 module per month. You're going to be finished in 3 months. The sessions consist of carefully selected material, including 1, basic real estate concepts and terms. Got to have those. 2, the trainer's real estate experience and advice. So, as I mentioned to you, I'm also a transacting agent. So you guys are going to be going through, I'll be sometimes, depending on the class course, I will be going over with you and sharing with you how it applies in real life. Right now, I've got 2 listings that's going to be going live within the next 2-3 weeks. Okay, and then you guys get to be a part of that. I've had students who call me after they finish. They'll call me and they say, "Hey, Clarissa, what happened to that San Mateo property?" Because they get really into it as well too. So it's kind of fun. The next thing that we're also going to be going over are typical everyday agent activities. Again, because you're going to live through my transactions with me. Okay, and then lastly, what would real estate be without contracts, disclosures, and real estate forms? As green as we are in the state of California, we kill a lot of trees as well too. Okay, so real estate though has been ahead of the curve as far as going paperless. So right now we are actually doing things paperless at this point, especially with COVID-19. It just kind of accelerated that even more so, and the rest of the world is actually also doing the same thing. So we are going to be going over contracts, disclosures, and real estate forms. Okay, let's see here. So here's the introduction and the review. First of all, in real estate, for those, if you've never been in real estate, there are certain cast of characters. By the way, my kids are all into theater. So all these analogies are going to come through theater, okay? So you have your cast of characters. Who are they? Buyers. By the way, my poor kids, they're all in theater, and what happened on the last big play, the spring musical that they had? No musical. COVID-19 kicked in. So all summer long, I've just been hearing the songs, okay? Did you know Legally Blonde was a musical? Anyway, it is. I hear it all day long. Anyway, let's go back. So you've got certain characters within the play. You've got buyers. Who are the buyers? Well, buyers, they want to purchase real estate. That would be a home, land, business. Okay. Now they can get a loan or they can pay cash, right? They either go out, get a loan or pay cash. Sometimes even if they can pay cash, they'll still get a loan just to kind of leverage things out, okay, to leverage their funds. So you've got the buyers. Then next, you've got sellers. Who are the sellers? They're the owners. They sell their homes or their businesses to a buyer in exchange for what? In exchange for what we call in real estate consideration, which means money, okay? Consideration. So sellers, they own property and they exchange it with a buyer, okay, in exchange for consideration. That means they sell it to them in exchange for money. Then who's the one that puts all of this together? Well, those are the real estate agents, okay, which is what your guys are going to be. Now they place the buyer and the seller into contract and they get paid commission once the transaction is executed, has been completed. Then in addition to that, you also have escrow. This is a hired neutral third party that manages the transaction once the buyer and the seller are in contract. Now, here's where I'm gonna segue for a little bit here. In the state of California, Northern California and Southern California treat escrow differently. In Northern California, escrow is the escrow and title office, so one office, okay? In Southern California, there's an escrow office and a title office, two separate offices, okay? So for the purpose of the state exam, they're going to be considered separate. Okay, so not to get it mixed up for my Northern California, here in Northern California, if you say Chicago Title Company, it's Chicago Title and Escrow Company. In Southern California, you have a title company and a separate escrow company, okay? All right, so then now you've got lenders. Who are the lenders? They basically assist in acquiring home loans for purchase for buyers to purchase property. So the lender works with the buyer to be able to help them get a loan, an acquisition loan, to be able to acquire property. And then lastly, prospecting. Wait a minute, hold up. Prospecting, that's not a person. What is that? What's prospecting got to do with this? Well, prospecting has a lot to do with what we do. Prospecting, what is that? This is the need to acquire new clients and maintain existing relationships. It's to acquire new clients and maintaining existing relationships. Because the truth of the matter is real estate is a relationship-based industry. If you don't have clients, you don't have business. If you don't cultivate that, okay, you will not, your business will be very short-lived. And quite frankly, if they like you, and they know that you look out for their best interests, they're going to refer you. And this way, you're going to be able to get referrals as well, too. It makes it so much easier. Then this way, you can spend your time, working with your clients and not having to do so much prospecting. Now, I love prospecting. I get to meet new people that way as well, too. All right, so that is the introduction. So now let's get started with session 1 regarding California real estate principles. This is the business of real estate. Okay, now, hold on a second here. Let me just make sure I'm the way. I thought I missed it. Okay, here we go. All right, the administration of real estate law. Now, you've got the Department of Real Estate, DRE. This is the division of the California Department of Consumer Affairs. It's a division of the Department of Consumer Affairs. They administer and manage the real estate law. Okay, that's the DRE, Department of Real Estate. Now, the Real Estate Commissioner, this is the chief officer of the Department of Real Estate. He or she is appointed by the governor and enforces the law. Okay. All right. Now, what is their mission? Their mission is to safeguard and promote the public interest in real estate matters through licensure, regulation, education, and enforcement. Okay, that is the DRE's job. Now, administration of the real estate law, the Real Estate Advisory Commission. So you've got let's go back here. You've got your real estate commissioner, okay? Next, you're gonna have the advisory commission. What does that consist of? It consists of 10 member panels chosen by the real estate commissioner. 6 are licensed real estate brokers who preside in meetings and advise the real estate commissioner. And get this, 4 members are non-licensed members of the public, because it's also important for them to hear it from the non-licensed. members of the public. So this way there's a balance there. So not just the real estate, not just the rules are being made for realtors, but as well as hearing it from the non-licensed members as well. So basically the power to adopt, amend, or revoke licenses lies under the real estate laws. Now, by the way, for those of you keeping track of what's going to be on the quizzes, on the final, this is going to be one. Okay, who has the power to adopt, amend, or revoke licenses under the real estate law? The real estate commissioner. Okay.
Clarissa, sorry.
Yes. Who's this?
Is California BRE the same as DRE?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not sure why they keep switching over. Is that you, Patty?
This is Patty. Yes, thank you.
Hi, Patty. Okay, I don't know why it keeps switching over, but originally when I first came on to the business, it was called the Department of Realtors, right? DRE. And then they changed it to Bureau of Real Estate. And now more recently, they changed it back to DRE. So in essence, it's sort of, for the purpose of the test, is basically the same. So when they say DRE and BRE, is kind of like the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's just that they've switched. Okay.
Okay, but it's the same organization though.
Same organization. Yeah, they oversee the real estate laws.
Okay, thank you. Because that's how it's listed as, I guess, in edition 10.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. Just wanted to make sure.
It's not to confuse matters more, right? So basically, thank you for that, Patty, because it is confusing. The DRE, whenever they talk about the DRE, Department of Real Estate, or the BRE, Bureau of Real Estate, it's really one. I mean, it's not really one and the same, but for the purpose of the test, it's one and the same. Okay. So the real estate commissioner, well, who's the real estate commissioner? He oversees, first of all, the licensing and regulation of approximately 415,000 real estate licensees in the state of California. And he is responsible for a staff of approximately 342. Now, Sandra New is the current acting real estate commissioner. Okay. Now, with over 400, here's one of the questions I always get asked. Clarissa, everyone I know has either a realtor or a family member who's a realtor. I mean, I go to a party and there are realtors all over the place. So basically, with over 400,000 licensees in California, there seems to be a lot of competition within the real estate field. Now, here's where I think of that, okay? I've been in parties where there are multiple realtors there. I mean, my circle of friends are realtors. You know, I believe that there's enough business out there for everyone. Here's the thing. I mentioned that real estate is a relationship-based business, okay? If a person is not comfortable with you, okay, you could be 20 years in the business, but they're more comfortable and they have a trust with somebody who may have just been in the business within the last year or two. They're more likely to go with that person, okay? Because here's the thing. New agents also will have nowadays, which you guys are really lucky, you know, there are mentors and coaches that will be there for you, plus the years of experience within the brokerage that you're going to be working in. Some of you will be going into teams. Some of you will just be going on your own independent, and some of you will be going into partnerships. Okay, regardless of where you go, you have to hang your license in a brokerage. I would leverage the experience and the listings that you have within that brokerage, okay, for you. Use that as part of it, because you can use your brokerage and people within your office to be able to get advice from. You know, in our office, we have a mentor, we have a coach, we have a broker. I mean, we have a whole group of people that's there to be able to support you. So it's really important to do that. So am I worried about competition? Not necessarily. I mean, you know, I think it's good to be able to have competition, because what that does is it doesn't make us complacent. What it does is it brings out our A game, and we have to, because whenever we take on a client, we have a fiduciary responsibility to them. I'll go more into fiduciary later on. So let's talk about Mr. Wayne Bell. He was the real estate commissioner for the state of California Department of Real Estate from February 2013 through July 2018. So currently right now it's Sandra New. She is the current acting real estate commissioner. Now, real estate brokerages in general. Under the supervision of a licensed real estate broker, real estate license related activities are performed. This is why it's really important for new licensees to hang their, well, for any real estate licensed salesperson to hang their license with a brokerage, because the brokerage has a supervisory responsibility to the brokers, to the agents that are under them. Now, per the real estate law, the salesperson is always considered the employee of the broker. You have to be able to distinguish the two. So let me read that again. and by the way, this is going to show up on the test. Per the real estate law, the salesperson is always considered the employee of the broker. However, a salesperson can only do business only as an employee of the broker. Well, wait a minute, Clarissa, you said that this is going to be my own business. What do you mean now you're saying I'm an employee? Not necessarily. As far as the real estate law is concerned, a salesperson is always considered to be an employee of the brokerage. However, although agents are independent contractors, they represent clients on behalf of the brokerages. That's why you are considered to be an employee of the brokerage. Now, per IRS, oh, hold on, not quite yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, this is the analogy that they have. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm not very good with sports analogy. Theater analogy, I'm good. Sports analogy, not so good. Okay, so you guys I'm just going to read through this. So here's what that means. When you hang your new license with a brokerage, you will be basically representing that brokerage in the real estate world. So I, Clarissa Cortez, licensed real estate salesperson, I'm hanging my license with Keller Williams Brokerage. So when I go out there and I transact, I am representing Keller Williams. Okay, so in the sports world, what does that mean? It says, although I am an independent contractor, you are representing the name on the front of the jersey, not just the back of it. Okay, so when you're in sports, in the front of the jersey will be the name of the team. So if this was my jersey, it would say Keller Williams in the front, and in the back, it'll have my name on it, okay? So although you're an independent contractor, you are representing the name on the front of the jersey, not just the back of it. Therefore, you must act professionally, truthfully, and ethically, okay, at all times. That's important. Okay, we're kind of always on, as a realtor, you're always on. When I'm at the grocery store and my kids are acting out when they were little, you have to maintain, you can't lose it, right? You have to always be professional because you never know who sees you out there. Okay, so real estate brokerage office activities. Now, basically, you deal with transactions involving real properties such as residential property, that would be for the sale and the lease. You can also, with your license, you can also deal with commercial property, mobile and manufactured homes. Did you guys know that you can sell mobile homes? Certain mobile homes, okay? And also manufactured homes. You can sell business opportunities. Now, that is not real estate. That's not the building. That's the business opportunity. That's the business itself. And also with a license, you can also do mortgage loans. Residential mortgage loan originator, the MLO, must comply with federal and state annual registration requirements. They also have another designation that they have to get before they can do loans. But with a license, you can also do loans. So basically, the real estate area that is typically chosen by new licensees is real properties such as residential homes. So if you're a new licensee coming in, typically you will be working with residential homes. What are residential homes? Residential properties that has 1 to 4 units. That would be a single family residence, a duet, a triplex, or a fourplex. Once you go 5 units or more, you're now going into commercial. But as a licensed realtor, you can also do commercial real estate. So here's the thing. Can a new license who is interested in commercial sales begin their career in the commercial division? It's a different license required for commercial sales. Now, for those of you who are on here looking to get into commercial, I think that's fantastic. I'll tell you right now, people coming in, new agents coming in, typically will go into the residential real estate. Why? Because it's a little bit easier to sell in, such as the time frame to close a transaction is from 30 to 45 days. Commercial is a little bit more specialized field. Unless you're in commercial already, it's very difficult to get into the commercial field right from the get-go. I didn't say it can't be done. It's just going to be a little bit challenging. The other thing too is that they don't get paid. Like for us in residential sales, if we close a transaction 30, 45 days, we get paid 30, 45 days. Sometimes in commercial, you might end up waiting 9 months. You might be waiting a year. I've heard of some situations where it's 18 months. That's a long time to get paid. Okay, but the thing is, when you get paid, get paid very handsomely. It's just that between day 0 and 118 months, that's did I say 180 days? I meant 18 months. I'm sorry, 18 months. That's a long time to wait for a paycheck. Okay, so residential is a little bit easier. Plus, you'll have more client base that way. There's a lot more people looking for residential properties than there are commercial. It's not to say there aren't any, but it's a little bit easier to break into real estate through the residential side. Okay, so let's talk about broker responsibilities. First of all, they need to maintain valid real estate licenses. All licensees must have a valid and active real estate license. The broker should monitor the expiration dates of their salespersons. As a matter of fact, if we're getting close to our licenses getting expired, we get a notice from a broker saying that your license will be expiring. So within about 6 months to about 6 months, sometimes a year, you pretty much know, because you're going to get notification as well too. You start doing your continuing ed. Next, they also supervise the sales associate. A broker must exercise reasonable supervision of his or her sales associate. They have to look over the paperwork. The real estate industry is heavily, regulated, and we have to be in compliance. Now, coming out of the gate, you might be really gung-ho and everything. Sometimes the broker has to pull in the reins a little bit and make sure they guide you so that you are doing things within compliance. Okay. And then, of course, they need to retain transaction records. A licensed broker must retain the records of a real estate transaction at the office for 3 years. By the way, that's a test question. Okay. How long do they maintain the records? 3 years. Copies of all listings, purchase agreements, disclosures, etc. 3 years. Okay. Now, real estate salesperson is someone who holds a salesperson license issued by the Department of Real Estate. It actually looks like this. You get a certificate like this sent to you, and then also you get this little tiny card that you keep in your wallet, and it basically identifies you as a real estate licensed salesperson. The salesperson is hired by a real estate broker in order to perform any of the real estate activities that require a license. This license allows real estate activities only if the salesperson is controlled and supervised by the broker. And lastly, the salesperson receives compensation only from the broker. Let me repeat that. The salesperson receives compensation only from the broker. So when you're out there doing a transaction, if I were to go out there, I have a listing right now. When I close on this listing, I am the salesperson handling the listing, representing Keller Williams. The agency relationship is through the broker, Keller Williams. The contract belongs to the broker, Keller Williams, and the commission will go to the broker, Keller Williams. In my case, that would be for me. So what happens then is this. I am the licensed salesperson that's representing my client on behalf of Keller Williams. They hired Keller Williams. When I get paid, when the escrow company sends the check, it goes to the brokerage, and then based on your commission split that you negotiate, then you will get your portion, which is commission, and then the brokerage keeps their portion, which then becomes the company dollars. Okay. So by the way, that's a test question there. Gross income less commission equals company dollars. All right. So what are the licensing requirements? First of all, if you become a real estate agent, you must be at least 18 years old. You must be at least 18 years old. You need to be honest and truthful. You need to pass the course in real estate principles, practice, and an elective. For this course, the elective is finance. Okay. You need to get fingerprinted, which is called live scan. Okay. We'll go through that when you're on your 3rd month. I'll be going over the next steps after that. You will pay the required licensing fees. You complete 45 hours of continuing education every 4 years. So every 4 years, you're going to be taking continuing ed and also taking, the requirements to complete your continuing ed. And lastly, you need to obey applicable laws and regulations. Okay, now, if you want to become a real estate broker, you need to be honest and truthful. You need to complete 8 college level courses, and you need to fulfill 2-year experience requirement. Okay, you need to pass the broker's licensing exam. You send in the required fee. You complete 45 hours of continuing ed every 4 years, and you also obey applicable laws and regulation. So what are the benefits of joining the California Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors? Well, first of all, you cannot call yourself a realtor unless you belong to CAR, NAR, and your local board. Okay, the reason you want to do that, and anyone that you're going to transact with, you want them to also be a realtor. That's how you can call yourself a realtor. It's really important because they regulate. Okay, they regulate and they make sure that pretty much everybody's playing by the same rules. Okay, I would never want to be in opposite a transaction where the other person is not a realtor. They're not bound under the same rules that we're all in. And it's really important to do this. So to me, there is a benefit to joining the California Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors, because it really, one of the things that they do is they maintain the training, they maintain the standard of which we will be doing our business in. And that's really important. You want to make sure anyone you're working with is also under the same standards as you. Now, real estate licensee requirements. The course for real estate license, salesperson's license, real estate practice principles, and an elective. And again, in California Realty training, it is finance. You must get fingerprinted. You must use a live scan program. An applicant must submit one set of fingerprints electronically to the Department of Justice, the DOJ. Now, enforcements of real estate law. Pay attention to this one. This is going to show up on the test. You know, to have a flourishing real estate career, it is important to stay out of legal trouble. Very important. Do not break any laws. If you do, here's what happens. Here are the consequences. The real estate commissioner will investigate. Hearing may be required. Administrative law judge presides. Licensee, you may have an attorney. Now, if charges are proven, that means the license may be suspended or revoked, and the licensee may be fined. So basically, here's what you want to do. You know, we're heavily regulated. We're trained heavily as far as the rules and regulations, what we can do, what we cannot do. Bottom line is this: you have a fiduciary to your client, the consumer. Okay, if you just maintain that and keep up your studies and understanding about the legalities of what we work under, you will be able to best serve your client. Okay, when you know these things. So basically, do it the right way, and it's kind of cheesy. Do it the right way and you will go a long way. Oh, okay. All right. So the Department of Real Estate. Let's talk about the Department of Real Estate. The DRE website is extremely helpful and clearly explains the real estate exam process. It will answer many of your questions. It will basically kind of give you the next steps. It'll also give you the requirements, anything you need to know. So to go to the DRE website, you need to select the examinees tab in the DRE, www.dre.ca.gov, and then you'll select the topic in which you need the assistance. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Let's see if it'll work. Nothing is
Clarissa,
coming
I
up.
have a question, if that's okay.
Sure. Who am I speaking with?
Hello?
Who am I speaking with?
My name is Ida.
Hi, Ida.
Hi, Clarissa. So I wanted to ask if there is a clear difference between salesperson licensing versus like a real estate agent licensing.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again? Is there a difference between a
salesperson license versus real estate?
Okay. So a real estate, it's going to be a real estate, California real estate, I'm going to go California licensed real estate salesperson. Okay. So
Okay.
when you first get your license, you are considered to be a licensed salesperson.
Okay.
That's just passing the test.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for you to be able to transact, a lot of the brokerages, actually all of the brokerages, will require you to be a realtor. For you to be a realtor, you need to join the board.
Got it.
Okay. So here's the thing. All realtors, okay, I'm going to say this really slow. All realtors are licensed real estate salespersons in the state of California, but not all licensed real estate salespersons are realtors. Do you follow?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so that's the difference. So I hope that answers your question.
It did. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful. Now this one right here is the website. Okay, as I'd mentioned, this is the website where you're going to, where you can check in for information such as any questions regarding that you might have regarding the real estate licensing. The other thing too is once you submit your paperwork in, and you're checking to see when you're going to be taking your test, you basically look under this block right here. It's called e-licensing. Okay, and then that'll be able to give you some information. And we'll go over more of that later on, but I want to at least show this site to you so that you will be familiar with it. Okay, so let's see here. I'll just move it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a review. Okay, this is called the brain game. It's supposed to be played like Jeopardy, but let's just go on. Okay, this is a neutral third party that protects the integrity of the transaction. who would that be? So you can either chime in or you can put it on the chat box.
Escrow?
That would be Escrow. Thank you, Andrea. And who was the one that answered? Was that you, Annette?
Yes.
Thank you. Yep, you're right. Annette got that. And Andrea, thank you. The former chief officer of the DRE, Wayne Bell, held this position. What would this position be?
Real estate
Real
commissioner?
estate commissioner, exactly. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Mark. Real estate commissioner. Next, a salesperson is considered an employee of whom? That would be
the broker.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Andrea. That would be the brokerage. Next, a brokerage holds transaction records for this amount of time. I told you it was going to come out.
3 years.
3 years. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Andrea. You're right. 3 years. What are the 3 required courses needed to become a salesperson? It's a little bit tricky. What would that be?
Practice, principal, and elective.
Thank you. That was right. Practice, principles, and an elective. That was Annette. Yeah.
Yes.
Good job. Awesome. And then Mark, thank you for that. Yes, you're right. An applicant must submit 1 set of fingerprints electronically to whom? Who would that be? Anyone remember? DOJ. Thank you, Aja. That's right. DOJ. That would be the Department of Justice. Absolutely. Department of Justice. Okay, so that's our 6 brain game questions. We're going to take a little bit of a break. It is 7:52. How about if you guys need to take a break, come on back at 8:05. In the meantime, I will go ahead and open up the view again. I will take it off of the shared screen. And then if anybody has any questions, you're free to ask me. If anyone just wanted to say hello to the rest of the group, you're certainly free to do that. I think it'll be great. And for those of you who want to take a little bit of a break, go on ahead, come on back at 8:05, okay? Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and stop this part right here. New share. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to just go ahead and chime in.
Clarissa, it's Annette.
Yes. Hey, Annette.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
keeping your screen on. I appreciate that.
Of course. So I did the whole the month of June with you. I missed this one, so of course I'm glad that I'm part of it today. But my question is, where do I continue with where we left off 2 weeks ago?
Okay, so what part of June did you miss?
Well, no, I just missed this first session 1, but then I completed the rest of the sessions. I think we went up to session 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, session 15.
Yeah. So where do we continue from there? Isn't there the next?
Okay, so that was your first course, right?
Yes.
That's your first module. Okay, so what you're going to do is you finished all of the chapters for all 15 chapters, correct?
No, I am halfway done, so I'm not done.
That's okay. So what you're going to want to do is you want to continue, you want to finish up the rest of the module so that this way you can go ahead and take your final exam for that class, for that course, right? And then you'll have your first certificate. Okay. And then keep up here. So you have all of the materials. You have the syllabus as well as the PowerPoint presentation, correct?
I don't know if I have the syllabus. I think I need to get that. I have the PowerPoint presentation on the website, right? That's on there.
Right. So do me a favor. What I want you to do then is send me an email and on the subject line, put syllabus, principles. Was it principles or practice that you don't have?
I think I don't have both.
Okay. So just go ahead and put syllabus, and on the body of it, put in what you need. And then this way, once I get it tomorrow, I will go ahead and send that out to you, okay? And then that would be here. Let me put my email address here. Give me a second. Hold on. realtytraining.com. Okay, you see that? Did it go through?
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Clarissa.
Okay, and then Diana, you have a question here. Would you be able to go over again the part of salesperson versus realtor, please? When you pass the state test, you become a licensed salesperson, and then to be a realtor, you need to be a part of a board. And how do you do this? Was it the CAR and NAR? Thank you. Diana, very good question. Let's see, where are you? Can I see you here? I don't see you here, but I'll answer your question anyway. I hope you're on so you can hear me. Basically, when you pass your license, you're going to have a designation of a licensed real estate salesperson. Okay, so when you pass the test, if you're not affiliated with a brokerage, if you did not affiliate yourself with a brokerage on your application, you will pass the test. You will have a number, and most likely it will say NBA. The initial is NBA, or it'll give you a test number. NBA means non-broker affiliate. Okay, once you hang your license with the brokerage, you would need to be a realtor. Okay, so let me go over that. When you pass your test, and you will, okay, when you pass your test, your state exam, you then become a licensed real estate salesperson. Okay, everyone that passes that will be a licensed real estate salesperson. However, when you join a brokerage, they're going to want you to become a realtor. For you to become a realtor, you need to join your local association, which then will have you join the California Association of Realtors and then the National Association of Realtors. You're going to be signed up on all three levels. Okay, and then that's when you can call yourself a realtor. So when I said everyone, all realtors are licensed real estate salesperson. However, not all licensed real estate salespersons are realtors. That's what I was referring to. I hope that answers that. To be a realtor, how do you do this? Well, basically, you join the board. So depending on which way we're going to be doing your business, I happen to be in San Mateo County, so I belong to the San Mateo Association of Realtors, also known as SAMCAR. Once I joined them, I was also I automatically joined CAR and NAR, and then now I'm a realtor. Okay, so you will be joining the board where you're going to be working mostly in, and you can talk to your broker about that as to which board you should be joining, and that's what we'll do it for you. Okay. Thank you. That was a good question, Diana. I hope you're here. Hey, Patty.
Hi there. Can I just ask a part two to that question
Sure.
and your answer?
Mhm.
Do you have to be invited by the brokerage to join? Is it, sorry, CAR and R? CAR and R.
Well, first of all, here's the thing. Once you submit your paperwork in to the DRE, okay, the brokerages out there will be sending you letters. You're going to be receiving a ton of letters from all the different brokerages inviting you to look at their brokerage. Because why? That's what brokerages do. They're out looking for good talent to be able to come. Remember, when you go to these brokerages, you are not looking for a job, right? You have a license, you now have a business. You need to do informational interview and then find the brokerage that will help you grow your business. Okay, to be, to take it from a nice little business, new baby business, and take it where as far as you want it to go. And you want to be able to go to a brokerage that can support that and has the infrastructure to be able to support you from a newbie to wherever you want it to be an entrepreneur, basically. Okay, so when you do that, when you become part of a brokerage, they will ask you to join an association, because you cannot transact unless you're a realtor under the brokerage. Okay, that's what they're going to want to do.
Is that almost immediate?
It's immediate. Unless you're going to be a referring agent. What is a referring agent? Okay, I'm glad that you heard me, Diana. I wasn't sure if you heard me there. You can either be a transacting agent. If you're going to be a transacting agent, you have to be part of the board. Otherwise, you cannot go out there and transact. Okay. If you're going to be a referring agent, that means you're just going to be giving referrals. Okay. The license will allow you to be able to receive commission. Because here's the thing: if you're not licensed, you can't get commission. Okay. So as a referring agent, you have a license, you can refer people. So let's just say, Patty, you have a family member who's moving up to San Francisco. What part of California are you from?
I'm from Southern California area.
Okay, so you're in SoCal, and then somebody's getting transferred to Silicon Valley or San Francisco. You call me, say, hey, Clarissa, I've got a family member who's moving up there. Can I refer them to you? We negotiate what the referral fee is, 20%, whatever the case may be. At the close of the transaction, if they work with me and I close the transaction, 20% of the commission will go to your brokerage. And then depending on your split, you will get that. Okay. I can't speak about other offices, what their splits are. I can speak about Keller Williams because that's what I'm familiar with. When you come into Keller Williams, you start at a 70-30 split. Okay, as a transacting agent. However, as a referring agent, your split is 85-15.
Okay.
You get 85, the company gets 15. And the reason for that is because you're referring, you're only getting 20 to 25% of the commission. Okay. But being a referring agent, you don't have to be part of the association because you're not transacting. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
does that help? Okay, fantastic. Let's see who else. I'm looking here. Quiz. Okay. No other questions for me? Okay.
Can I ask one last one question?
Sure. Well, you got 4 minutes. Go for it.
I when I was doing some research on schools, I saw that Keller Williams elective was the finance. Some other schools had legal aspects. What is the reasoning behind that? And if other schools have emphasized legal aspects, how much of the legal side of it is going to be on the test?
Okay. So here's the thing. They're all going to be on the test. Wait, what? Okay, there are 7 categories, okay? 7 categories, and you're going to get tested on all 7 of them. But wait, Clarissa, I'm only learning about 3. What's going to happen to the other 4? Well, here's the thing. Once you need 3, you're only taking 3 because all you need to do is submit 3 certificates to the DRE to be able to sit in for the exam, okay? But you will be tested for all 7, right? Now, because, like you said, in Keller Williams, our elective is finance. The reason we say finance is because it's closely related to what we're doing as far, not to say the others aren't, but when you're working with people and they're working with, they're getting a loan, it's good to know a little bit about the loan, emphasize that. However, when you take the exam, you're going to be tested on legal aspects, property management, let's see, finance, practice principle, and 2 more. I can't think of the 2 more, but there's a total of 7. Once you go in, once you get your portal, all 7 will be there. Okay. So, well, what about the other 4 that we're not going to be studying during this 3 months that we're doing it? In the portal, you're going to have all 7 categories. There's going to be questions specifically for them. That's going to have questions, answers, and explanation. Okay. And then the practice exam is going to simulate the state exam. Okay. And it's going to have all of those questions as well. So you will be familiar with the questions as well. Okay. And if you're still concerned about that, just prior to your exam, what you want to do is when you get that email from the DRE saying, okay, go ahead and pick your class, call the school, call me, find out, hey, Clarissa, I really want to take that crash course. When's the next crash course? I will let you know when the next crash course is. And then what you do is you take your exam a couple of days, the Tuesday or the Wednesday after. Okay, so this way it's still fresh in your mind. By the way, that crash course is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. It's crash course. This is not the time for you to learn. This is the time for you to just hone in your skills. You're going to be hearing the questions. We're going to go over questions, answers, and explanation. Okay, do you need the crash course to pass the test? Absolutely not. But if it makes you feel better and gives you the confidence to be able to take the exam, then absolutely take it. I've had students who didn't take the crash course and pass. And I've had students who didn't study and needed the crash course because they didn't study. You know, they keep saying, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Next thing you know, it's time to take the test. So they will take the crash course, and it kind of helps remember the things that they study. Okay. So that would be that. Okay. Let's see here. We've got 1 more minute. Does anyone have any questions for me before I open it up to, before I go back into the presentation? Anyone?
Yes, Clarissa, this is Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hello. This is my first class here. It's the intro.
Welcome.
What is the next step of I'm paying for the class? When would be the first start date? I would.
Okay, so here's what we've got. Congratulations, welcome to the class. Now there's also a whole lot of other people who's today's their first night doing this. Okay, so the next steps would be this. At the end of this class, okay, I do also have 2nd month students, returning students, and 3rd month returning students. For those 2nd and 3rd month students, at the end of the class, they will be dismissed and then they're done. However, for those who are here for the first time, who's kind of checking this out and seeing for themselves, we're gonna have like a little 8-minute presentation at the end of the course that's gonna talk about the next steps, talk about fees, how to sign up, all of that stuff. Okay, so can we table your question in a little bit?
Yep.
I'll promise to answer that after the class, okay? We're gonna go over fees, schedules, all of that, all right?
Sounds good.
Okay, it is now 8:06. Thank you for the question. I will see you after class, Gary. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with everyone. And like I said, you guys are all going to be in mute. If you guys have any questions, just jump in. Don't go into chat because sometimes I do not see it. So let me go ahead. Give me just a second to share the screen. Okay, share. Okay, I see Annette. I see Rachel. Do you guys see my screen? And I see Patty. Just a thumbs up. We good? Okay, awesome. All right, hold on a second. Let's see here. Whoops. Okay, so let me just fix this a little bit. This doesn't look so good. Let me change that. Okay, it's loading it up. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. There, I can see more. Okay, all right, so now we're going to go through 2 chapters. And by the way, that was Gary, right? You asked the question. You are actually welcome. You are actually in your first class. So at the end of this, at the end of tonight's class, should you move forward, you already have credit for 2 chapters. These are actual classes that we're going through, even though it's considered to be introduction. Okay, all right, so that's why you will hear me. I will say, okay, guys, this is part of the test. You're going to see this on the test. So at least now you'll know. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about the nature of real estate, of real property. Okay, let's talk about the nature of real property. First of all, let's talk about the geography of California. Here's the entire state of California right here. Okay, guess what? California is the 3rd largest state in land area at 158,706 square miles. We're only behind Arkansas. What's AK? All right, guys, sorry. Arkansas and Texas. Okay, so we're the 3rd largest. Arkansas and Texas. Alaska, thank you. I don't know what that is. I'm from California, y'all. Okay, so anyway, Alaska and Texas, right? That's all that matters. Now, Alaska and Texas. Now, we are the most populous in the United States with almost 40 million people. Now, here's the thing. I studied in New York. Okay, you take a girl from California, from the Bay Area, never been anywhere without her family, and then I get shipped all the way across to New York in my junior year of high school. Scary, right? Exciting and scary. Okay, New York is lovely. However, New York has nothing on California. I got there in January. I started school like, I think January 3rd, right? And it was snowing in New York. Now, being in California, I didn't have snow falling on me whenever I go to school. So I remember my first day of school, there I was, I'm walking to school, I've got an umbrella and I'm singing Christmas songs because it was so cool, right? How cool is that? You're walking to school and you got snow coming down. My auntie, she says, bring an umbrella, you're gonna need that. I just went ahead and listened to her and I realized she was right. So there I am, I'm walking through, going to school. I went to school, I was in Queens, New York, and I was in Jamaica and I was going to school, walking to school to Jamaica High School. So I'm walking there, snow's coming down, I'm loving it. I'm singing Christmas songs. I thought, wow, this is great, right? So fast forward, by Friday, I was not singing Christmas songs. I was not a happy camper. It was cold. Whenever I would get a runny nose, I hated it because it would burn. It was so painful. I did not like it. Why? It's not because I didn't like snow. I just didn't like snow when I don't want it to snow. Here's the thing. In California, we're spoiled. If I want snow, I drive 4 hours up from where I am. And I'm up at Tahoe and I can have snow. I can go skiing. Okay. From where I'm at, if I want the sun, and the beaches, I drive 4 hours down. I can actually go right over here in my backyard, but our water is much colder. You gotta have a wetsuit. Or I can go 4 hours down to Southern California and I can go to the beaches. One weekend, we had family members from the Philippines come, and in one weekend, I kid you not, we were skiing at Saturday, and on Sunday, we were down in Disneyland. Where can you do that? I love California. So California has beaches, we have deserts, we have valleys, we have foothills, we have mountains. Guess what? I'm not the only one who feels that way. A whole lot of people straight across the United States feel that way about California, and they come to California. And that's why we are the most populous state in the United States. Okay, we have over almost 40 million people. Now, how many of you, now it's going to be hard, I can't tell, but if you guys want to just chime in and say, how many of you have moved to California from another state? Who's a transplant here? Anyone? Okay, I am. Patty, I see you.
I've been in and out.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So Janet, you too?
Yeah, I've been in and out. Like I literally, because I do operations for retail, I help help open up stores in different states, different, areas,
Wow.
cities. So I always come back to SoCal, and I'm like, because real estate has always been my dream, and I want to build houses, also get my brokers.
Right.
So I think about like, oh my God, like everybody literally wants to be in SoCal. You get the beach, you get Knott's Berry Farm,
Absolutely.
you get Disneyland, the super malls,
There you
the
go.
celebrities. It's like so cool.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I found out in Southern California? Everybody has a camera crew. Okay. I'm walking down the street. I'm seeing somebody. It's like, oh, who's that? Is that a celebrity? And then all of a sudden somebody walks by, like, who's that? I mean, bloggers have a camera crew. By the way, I just
the
found out about
diversity
bloggers.
down here is great.
Yeah. Well, I love California. I mean, maybe that's just me, but then I find a whole lot of other people love California too, because we do have all of these things. We do have a variety. Okay. And it's a great city. Now, the other thing too is you guys are getting licensed, okay, in the most expensive state, okay, in the union. Okay. Our home prices are the most expensive. Other states hate us, okay, because one transaction you can get $30,000 and they have to close like 10 or 15 deals out there. Okay, so we also have the most expensive home prices around. So let's see, many of your buyers, here's the thing, many of your buyers will be new to California because we do have a lot of people coming into California. Okay, so basically the important thing is be familiar with your local area. Okay, I do have some students where they're in one area, but they'll also familiarize themselves in another area. So they've got two areas that they're covering. Okay, in real estate, guess what? You're licensed in the state of California. One of my colleagues, he loves to go down to Southern California and do transactions there. He has family members there. When my son went to UC San Diego, I found out 3 of his classmates, the parents wanted to buy them homes instead of putting them in the dorms. Well, in the first year, you have to be in the dorm, but instead of renting. Okay, guess what? I can close it. I did. And every time I would go visit my son, it's a business. I expensed it because I'm also checking out my clients' properties. So, get to know your area. Many buyers do come in here because they do like the state of California. The other thing too is that our income base here is much higher. A lot of people before they retire or when they're trying to get higher up in their business, in their industry, they will come to California. Because if they stay within the company, they get into a higher pay scale and then they go back to where they came from, the pay scale doesn't go down. So we get a lot of these things coming into California. So become familiar with your local area so that this way you can best help out your clients. Now, you guys are in a great position right now because you are in a classroom with other people throughout California. Earlier, somebody was saying somebody was from Oakland. I forgot who it was. Was that you, Janet? Who's from Oakland? I've got people from Oakland. I've got people from Southern California, from Riverside County, from LA County. One of my students, he was from Calabasas. Okay, so we have that. So get to know people because guess what? When you're referring people, other clients to other areas, it's nice to know agents out there, and then you can refer to them as well. Okay. Now let's talk about the history of California. This is important. By the way, here's a clue. If there's a date in the fact, know it because most likely it'll show up in a test, all right, in the final exam. So let's go ahead and go through this. The history of California. The Mexican-American War began in when? May of 1846. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed in 1848, ending the war with Mexico. Now, California became a state and a part of the U.S. in 1850. Okay, California became a state in 1850. The gold rush of 1849, San Francisco's population grew from 500 to 150,000 from 1847 to 1870 due to the explosion of the 49ers. Okay, now recent history of California, the effect of the housing bubble. Now, modest values of homes in the 60s and 70s had soared by early to mid 2000s. Okay, mortgage companies were accommodating to buyers as the real estate values substantially increased. Excuse me. Now, the boom years ended when the bubble burst in 2007 and 2008, and the housing prices began to crash. Okay, part of the reason for that is because of the deregulation of the loans that was being given out. Now, here's the thing. Some people are starting to talk about maybe we're going through the same thing right now because of this pandemic. People are not working. They're going to lose their house. They're speculating that property values are going to tank. You know what? There's a world of difference between the time of 2007, the demise of 2007, 2008, and today. First of all, real estate is still pretty strong. I just submitted an offer and there were 6 offers all over asking in Antioch, which is still it's like an hour and a half away from San Francisco. Not really an hour and a half, about an hour. And, so real estate is still strong. The difference is now people have equity on their property. Back then, loans were being given 100% financing, sometimes even 105% financing. How do you explain that? 105%. You're practically being paid to buy a house back then. So there was no equity. And then people couldn't keep up with their payments. Property values started to tank. So pretty soon, if you have 100 or 105% loan to value, that means your loan is 100% or 105% the value of the home. If you don't make any payments, guess what? There's no equity to be for you to begin with. So you can't even sell the property. So that's why the real estate market tanked. And that is the difference between then and today. Today, people have equity in their homes. Okay, so it's really, really important. So that was the boom years. The boom years ended when the bubble burst in 2007 to 2008. I'll tell you when it was. It was actually July 2007 when this whole thing just kind of collapsed. Okay, and the housing prices began to crash then, right? Now, California median price had a slight growth. The median price bounced back over $600,000 and had the largest yearly gain since May 2014. So if you will look in this graph right here, I don't know if you guys can see it right here, 2007, right here. So property values were going up, 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 and then all of a sudden it started to tank. And it kept going down. It kept going down. So that was in 2007. By 2009, we pretty much hit bottom right here. 2009. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you guys see my cursor here? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so it comes down. So it started to go up a little bit, and then it kind of tanked a little bit, but then not too much. It just went down. It started to go up. So it's trying to get up, trying to get up. So this is where the last time it hit bottom, right here in 2011. So 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, that's 4 years. Here's the thing. In the real estate market, there's never been a 5-year period where the real estate values kept tanking, kept going down. But look what happened after around 2011. Look, it started to go up. It's going up. By the way, this is where we left off right here. The $600,000 is starting to go up right here. This is a median price in California, right? It's starting to go up. As you can see, it's starting to go up now. Those properties that we couldn't even sell at $300,000, which at once upon a time were like $700,000. Okay, we couldn't even sell them at $300,000 or $500,000. Those same properties are worth well over $1 million now. Property values kept going up. Why? We're in California, okay? Property values here are still valuable. People still want to move here. And guess what? Guess what's on the other side of California? To the east, you've got the rest of the country. What's on the west side of California? It's the ocean. There's no place else to build. So we've got the ocean, we've got the desert. We're not going to build in the desert. Okay, we're going to get it as possible, but we're not building in the desert. You've got the Sierras, you've got the mountains. We can't really build there. So we have very limited land to build on. And yet people still want to come here. It's very desirable for people to be here. That's why our property values keep going up. And we also have fantastic industries here. We've got Silicon Valley, okay, high tech, and we've got San Francisco, big business. Okay, so right there, and then of course you go down to, that's just Northern California, my neck of the woods. You go down to Southern California, you've got big businesses there. You've got the fashion industry, you've got the entertainment industry, so California really has a lot to offer people. And we've got great weather, we've got great properties here. We just don't have the kind of homes where you sit on a vacuum to vacuum your place. It's not that big of a house. Okay, although some homes do get that big, but our average homes is what? In San Francisco, 1,200, 1,500 square feet, okay, on a 2,500 square foot lot. In the suburbs, about maybe 5,000 square foot, okay? So our property values do go up. Now, the real estate market is strong and thriving. Factors influencing the market: low home inventory. We still have low home inventory. Great interest rates. And then, by the way, right now, really, really good interest rates, right? They're in the low 3s. Some of them, I've heard it's even in the high 2s. So great interest rates. By the way, when the interest rates go down, purchasing power goes up. Interest rate goes down, purchasing power goes up. So that you could keep that into consideration as well too when you're working with your buyers. So right now, my current thoughts on the market: people are speculating that it's going to tank. They're they still speculate that it's going to tank. If it does, and I'm sure, and I know in the rest of the country, there's a lot of property values that has tanked. In California, we've always been able, especially in the Bay Area and parts of Southern California, we've been able to maintain our property values. When the property values started to come down, ours did go down, but not to the same extent as other states. Okay, but when it went up really, really high. So, we're really in a good place here, in my opinion. I love California, what can I say? So the real estate seems to be a solid investment in the long run. I mentioned earlier, I was a financial advisor before I came into real estate. And at my desk, we have certain desks, the minimum that anyone, the minimum for somebody to be able to sit down in front of me, they had to have investable assets of at least $50,000. And this is over 20 years ago. $50,000 was a lot. That means they can stand to lose $50,000 is what it means. But when I sat down in front of them and they would say that they're not homeowners, I would tell them, go out and buy a house. You need to turn around and buy a house, and I'll refer them to the mortgage department. Now, I was not in real estate then. I didn't do loans then, but I firmly believe, even as a financial advisor, you needed to get a house. One, it's a basic need. You need to live somewhere anyway. And two, you know what? Property values in California, it's hard to beat that. Now, don't talk to me about Bitcoins. I know nothing about Bitcoins. I don't even know if they're real, okay? But I'm not sure about that. But for everything else, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, you're not going to get the kind of return that you would if you were to purchase real estate in California. That's just my opinion. So let's take a look at the median home prices by county, okay? So let's look at LA County. In 1983, check this out. In 1983, the median home price in Los Angeles County is $118,545. Look where it is in 2019. Average $641,340. You're going to find some that's even more. You're going to find some that's even less. But this is the median price point. Let's look in San Diego. I love San Diego, by the way. Love, love, love San Diego. San Diego, $103,000 in 1983. Look where it went up to in December 2019, $655,000. Let's look in San Francisco. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Think about this.
Did it go up because of the tech industry? A lot of people say that the real estate and the housing got really expensive due because of all the businesses that were going there. Like, I have a lot of friends who work in the industry out there, and they say it's only because of the tech industry that moved into San Francisco, and now everything is just
yes and no.
high.
Absolutely, yes and no. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Who determines the price point? Who determines how much a house is going to sell for? Is it the seller? The seller can ask all they want. It's the buyer. Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
Absolutely. The buyer does. I can list the property at $1 million, but if buyers are only coming in and giving me offers at $850, it's going to sell around $850, or the seller's going to sit and hang on to it. Okay. How about if I put a house at 1 million and I've got multiple buyers and they all want it? So the price point is starting to go up. And then now I sell it at 1.3. Not unusual. That's actually conservative. Okay. 1.3. Who determined that price point? The buyers. So to answer your question, absolutely. Here's the thing. The desirability is much higher because of the location. What made it that way is because now we've got people with lots of money. They have stock options. Okay, they're working for Silicon Valley. I mean, young kids. Okay, one of my partners, she got a referral here to sell a property because that client is buying property in San Diego. Okay, young kids. She told me, oh gosh, they couldn't be more than 30. They're probably mid 20s to early 30s, and they purchased a property at 3.2 million in San Diego. That's a lot of money. Okay, but why? They can. The other thing too is they wanted to be there. That's the house they wanted. Vice versa here. They're going to sell their property for a lot higher too, and they're going to get multiple offers. Okay, if it's priced right and marketed well. So San Francisco in 1983, $133,730. Look at it now, $1,450,000. What? Look at that. I can't do that in stocks. $133,730 up until 1.45. Yes, you can do it in stock, but man, you got to have a strong heart for that, okay? But here's the thing. If it doesn't go up to $1,450,000, just went up to $1 million, are you going to be complaining? No, you had a place to live, right? And the equity value went up. And lastly, let's take a look. San Mateo's not here. Let's look at Santa Clara. Speaking of Silicon Valley, okay? 134,000, and it's up at 1.225, all right? So basically, the median home prices by county, it's gone up. Okay, it went up. So real estate seems to be a solid investment in the long run. It's not seems to be, it is a solid investment in the long run. What happens, Clarissa, if the market tanks? What if the property value goes down? That happened while I was in real estate. The property values go down. Just like in stocks, you don't experience, you don't get the loss or the gain until you sell it, right? So when I had clients calling me and saying, oh my gosh, Clarissa, my next door neighbor sold their property 500,000 below what I bought mine for. What does that mean? That means my property values are going down. Well, if you think about it, true, the property value is going down, but did you lose a bedroom? No. Did you lose a bathroom? No. How about any square footage? No. So basically the house is still 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, whatever it was that we bought it for. It goes, yeah. Are you planning on moving? No. Okay. It's a paper loss. You have to live somewhere. Live there. Hang on to your property. If you need to sell it, I can sell it in a heartbeat, but my recommendation is stick it through, stick it out, stay in the property, because when the property values comes up, you're going to have equity. You have to live somewhere. If you sell it, you're going to end up renting. You're going to be paying somebody else's mortgage, okay, and helping them keep their house. So basically in California, we have great properties here. Our property values, we do maintain our property values. So here's the thing, when you purchase real estate, okay, not only do you purchase the land, okay, you'll purchase the improvement on the land. Improvement is the structure. It's a house, condo, whatever, the structure. In addition to that, you also purchase from the land down to the center of the earth and anything that's down there. Why is that important? Because if there are mineral rights, if there's minerals, oil, anything underneath your land, down to the center of the earth, guess who owns them? That would be the homeowner, the landowner. So if you struck oil in your backyard and that oil comes out, that oil is yours. Okay, if you find gold underneath your home, it's yours. Why? Because your land goes from the surface down to the center of the earth. The other things, you have the airspace. So that's the physical part. But in addition to that, when you purchase property, when you're a homeowner, you also have what is called the bundle of rights, UPT. Now, UPT, you're going to want to write that down and learn that acronym, okay? UPT stands for use, possess, transfer, encumber, and enjoy. You're going to be referring to this a lot because during the test, this is going to come into play a lot. What does this all mean? Use. The owner has the right to use the property as he wishes lawfully. The owner has the right to use the property as he wishes lawfully. P, possess, the right to live on the property and exclude others. The right to live on the property and exclude others. T, transfer, the right to sell it, gift it, will it off, etc. As a homeowner, I can choose to sell my property, I can give it away, okay, or I can will it away when I die, right? Encumber, what does encumber mean? This is the right to use the property as security to borrow funds. That means I can use it as collateral to get money out, okay, in exchange for money. And lastly, enjoy. What does enjoy mean? This is the right to enjoy the property without interference from others. It doesn't mean that if you've got the next door neighbor and they have a barking dog, that means they're taking away your right to enjoy it. No, enjoy simply means this. You have the right to enjoy the property without somebody coming in and taking it away from you. That's really what it means, okay? So UPT, the use, possess, transfer, encumber, and enjoy. That is called the bundle of rights, and that is also what you receive when you purchase property, when you purchase real estate. Now, let's talk about, we keep saying real estate, right? What's real estate? Well, we'll go over real estate, but there's also something called personal property. So there's real estate versus personal property. So let's differentiate the both. It's very important to be able to do that. Real property, here's a definition of real property. It has to be immovable. Okay, immovable. Remember that word because when they talk about real estate, it's always going to be immovable. Okay, real property also consists of land, anything that's attached or affixed to that land, and anything incidental or appurtenant to that land. And lastly, anything that is attached belongs to the new owner. So anything that's attached belongs to the new owner. So it's immovable. Real property is immovable. It's land. It's anything attached or affixed to the land, anything incidental or pertinent to the land, and anything that is attached then belongs to the new owner. That's real property. What about personal property? Okay, personal property, well, it's movable. Real property, immovable. Real property, personal property, movable. You can move it, such as furniture, clothes, jewelry, art, household wares, etc. In real estate sales, some personal items can be negotiated into the transaction. Okay, one of the things that you will find to be part of the people think it's real property, but it's actually personal property would be like refrigerator, washer, dryer. Those are considered to be personal property. Okay, typically when you're going to sell a home, unless it's stated on the MLS, refrigerator, washer, dryer is not part of the sale. It's considered to be personal property. You would have to add that on. Okay, there's other things too. We're going to go into that as to what other things can be considered personal property. So property improvements, here's some definitions. Fixture. What is a fixture? Something that is affixed to a building by a person. Something that is affixed to a building by a person. Now, it is personal property that can become real property when it is attached to the land. A great example would be a chandelier. You go to Lowe's or wherever and you buy a chandelier. How does that chandelier comes in? It comes in a box. When it's in a box, it's movable. You can move it. You bring the chandelier from the store and you bring it inside the house. At that point, it's still personal property. The minute you take that chandelier and you attach it to the ceiling, okay, and now it's attached to the ceiling, now it becomes a light fixture. Now it becomes real property. Do you guys follow? So that's what it means when it says a fixture, a personal property that can become real property, okay, when it's attached to the land. Chandelier is a great example. What about annexation? Annexation is when personal property is added to real property and becomes a fixture, i.e. the chandelier again, or in this case, the fan. Severance. Severance is removing a fixture from the property. So they put in this beautiful chandelier when they moved into it. Now they're going to move out and they're going to say, you know what? I really, really like that chandelier and I want to take it with me. So what are they going to do? They're going to sever it from the property. They're going to remove it from the property, put it back in the box. What now happens to that chandelier? It becomes personal property and they take it away with them. Okay, is that clear on everyone about real property versus personal property? If anybody has any questions, just chime in. Otherwise, I'm going to keep moving on, okay? But you need to make sure you know that. Now, how do you determine real property, right? How do you determine the real property fixtures test? Here's my recommendation. Does anybody know Sound of Music? You guys all know Sound of Music? Or if you don't remember that, if you don't know that, see, Janet's like, on what? I don't know Sound of Music. Okay, I love Sound of Music. Julie Andrews, no?
I know it.
Well, okay, so in Sound of Music, there's a song called Maria. So when you get the test question that talks about the real property fixture test, start humming the song Maria. Why? Because that is the acronym for the fixture test. Let's go over that. M, method of attachment. The stronger it's attached, the greater the probability that it's a fixture. Okay, so something, what's something, oh, I know what, I just did this one. You know those basketball hoops, right? Not the kind that you wheel. Okay, I know sports analogy, I'm not very good about that. But anyway, the kind that just goes into the ground. Well, when it goes into the ground, it's cemented in there. That's pretty permanent. Okay, that is considered to be real property. So the method of attachment, if you take this basketball net pole and you stick it in the ground and you put cement in it, that's pretty permanent. That's a strong attachment. So the stronger it's attached, the greater the probability that it's a fixture. Now it's a fixture. That's part of the real estate. However, if it's one of those basketball hoops, okay, that you can wheel in and wheel out, not very strong attachment. There's no attachment. That is considered personal property because it's movable. Okay, so method of attachment is part of the fixture test. Maria. M, method of attachment. A, adaptability of the item. The greater the degree of adaptation for the land's ordinary purpose, the greater the likelihood that it is a fixture. Basically, anything custom for a home, such as mini blinds, furnace, pool cover. You know what's a really good one too? What about shutters? Okay, those plantation shutters. You can't just go to the store and get plantation shutters and put it on your window. Those are always custom made. So adaptability, if it's custom made for the most part, it's part of the property. It's real property. Relationship of the parties are a tenant who attaches something to the property has a better chance of claiming it was personal property. So this happens a lot some people are very particular, especially if they're chefs or they like to cook. Okay, they go into the property, they're going to rent it, and they don't like the gas stove that comes with it. They got to bring in the wolf. Okay, so basically, if the tenant says, "Listen, can I go ahead and put in my own stove? Because I like my own stove." They have to have an agreement with the landlord. The landlord would say, "Fine, you just need to have it installed professionally, and when you leave, you got to put back mine, you know, the original one," and they will do that. So the relationship to the parties, if a tenant says, "I'm bringing this in," they make arrangements that when they leave, they're going to take it with them. That's considered personal property. The intention of the party when attaching the item. If a tenant decides to install an alarm system and declares it to the landlord his intent to take the system with him upon departure, it will likely be considered personal property. Okay, again, same thing with the stove. They put in that wolf range when they say, "When I leave, it's coming with me," it's personal property. And lastly, the agreement of the parties, written clarification in an RPA. What is an RPA? Residential purchase agreement, or the lease, will avoid disputes. So in real estate, we write everything down just to make sure, because here's the reason why. When you write it down and both parties agree to it, that's a meeting of the mind. Both parties agree to that term and they sign off on it. Okay, so it's enforceable. If anybody disagrees or disputes it, there's something on paper that says, "This is what we agreed on this date. There's your signature. Here's my signature." It's enforceable. But if it's verbal, it's high. It's going to be very difficult to enforce something like that. So in real estate, write it down. Okay, when in doubt, write it out.
Question?
Yes, who is that?
This is Kenneth.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hey, yeah, I had a question on it's called estoppels. So
Yes.
on the last point that you talked about, you know, if it's an estoppel, the agreement of the lease tenants, how what is it tied in with the last item that the
No,
RPA?
and it's slightly different than that. An estoppel is if a property is being rent, if a property is tenant occupied, okay, and it's going to go on the market. Basically, the realtor will send what is called an estoppel to the tenants, and it's an opportunity for the tenants to indicate on there. It's also going to be attached to a copy of the lease. But sometimes the tenant and the landlord will make agreements along the way after the lease has been signed. And this is an opportunity for the tenant to write out what their agreements are to see if it reconciles with what the landlord says. i.e., the rent in the 5 years a tenant's been living in a property, that the rent was increased twice. Each time the rent was increased twice, the security deposit was also increased twice, right? But they never wrote out a lease. Okay, so by the time they sell it, the lease shows maybe it was only $1,000 security deposit when they moved in. However, through the rent increases, so did the security deposit increase. Then this will be the opportunity for the tenant to say, my security deposit also increased to $3,000. Okay, that's what an estoppel is. It's
Okay.
just a form for a tenant to fill out.
Great, thank you.
Okay, of course. Okay, so basically that would be the fixture test called Maria. So just think of that. Just think of Maria when you're coming up to a question like, is it a fixture? Is it real property? Is it personal property? Start humming Maria. I'd hum it for you, but can't sing. Okay, real property or personal property. So we're going to take a look at some of these things here, and you're going to tell me if it's real property or not. So when you're not certain if an item is real or personal, and the buyers prefer the item to remain within the home, within the sale of the home, you ask for the item in your written offer. So let's just say the seller really likes this refrigerator. You see this refrigerator is right here. You can hardly see it. There's a refrigerator. It's a stainless steel. It matches the rest of the appliances. Maybe it's a high-end stainless steel. Okay. They say, you know what, Clarissa, I'd like to have that. Does that come with a house? You don't know if it does or not. And if it's silent on the MLS, you don't know. Put it in the residential purchase agreement that you want the refrigerator to be part of it. Let's say these are beautiful Baccarat crystal chandeliers, right? You're saying, well, it's part of the fixture. It's on there. You know what? You can actually say, we want to make chandelier to be included, because at least this way, there's no question that when you put in the offer, you put in the offer with the intent of making sure that that chandelier stays. If the chandelier isn't staying, they're going to counter you back for that. Okay, so basically, when you want something to remain and you're in doubt, put it on the offer. Okay, I heard somebody go, Who was that? Did you guys, was that a question coming? No? Okay, so just chime in. These chandeliers here, is this personal or real?
Real.
Real, yes. What about this microwave, personal or real?
Real.
This microwave is built in. That's real. Okay. What about the stove? Personal or real?
Real.
Real, absolutely real. What about the dishwasher? Personal or real?
Well,
Huh? Real, yes. What about this wall hanging? It looks really great there.
personal.
Personal, yes. What about these bar stools? It looks like they were made to match this. Personal, or real? Personal. Lastly, what about this refrigerator? Personal or real?
Personal.
We don't know.
Nope,
Oh.
personal. That's
Personal.
personal, absolutely.
Oh, I thought we didn't know. I had no numbers.
Okay, so that's what you mean. So let's talk about land description. That's basically, that's a little exercise regarding personal or real, okay? Land description, when real property changes hands, the documents describing this change in ownership must describe with some degree of precision the land involved in the transaction using legal descriptions. You need to avoid confusion. You avoid it by describing a parcel of land by using one of three methods or all three methods. First of all, there's what is called the APN, Assessor's Parcel Number, APN. Okay, if not, basically any property out there, any legal property out there will have its own unique number, its own unique APN, Assessor's Parcel Number. If you have a condo building with 10 units in there, 10 condominiums in this building, it'll have 10 unique APN numbers for each of those units, okay? So it's sort of like, if you think about it, it's like having a social security for each unit. You know how social security is unique to each person? You can have, you know, twins, triplets, you know, you can have all these multiple births, but they each child will have their own social security number. Okay. Same thing with real estate. It'll have its own assessor's parcel number known as APN. Street address. Very important to put street address. The thing is, in a residential purchase agreement and an RPA, you want to have the street address and the APN. Okay, because 100 Main Street will be the same for all 10 of those units. Now you're going to have number 1, number 2, number 3. If somehow that gets cut off, the second way they can determine what property you're talking about is by the APN number. So it's really important to have the APN number and the street address as a minimum. Legal description, that's going to show up in the property profile. I mean, in the preliminary title report and the property profile. It's a very long description. You're not expected to know that. For the purchase, for the purpose of the offer, you just put in the street address and the APN, Assessor's Parcel Number. Hold on a second. Somebody keeps coming in. Is someone waiting? Okay, sorry, I keep hearing doorbell. Okay, now when dealing with real estate contracts, these land descriptions are most commonly used to describe a property's location. So Assessor's Parcel Number, street address, legal description. The first two, Assessor's Parcel Number and street address, is what we use mostly. I have not, in the whole 18 years that I've been doing real estate, have had to write out the legal description. It basically just gets attached to a preliminary title report, which is where they have that. Okay, the other thing too is you need to talk about, well, let's talk about plat maps. There's going to be the U.S. Section and Township Survey. U.S. Section and Township Survey. This is a system of describing land for new territories, states, and public lands. It forms a grid of imaginary lines to locate land. And these lines are drawn every 6 miles. So every 6 miles, they said, okay, here's our imaginary line. We go on again 6 miles, they go on that way. Now the meridian lines, it goes from north to south. Meridian is north to south, and baseline is from east to west. Okay, write that down. You're probably only going to need that for the test. After that, we have not used meridian lines and baselines. At least I haven't. And meets and bounds have not used that. But for the purpose of the test, you need to know that. What are meridian lines? North and south. Baseline, east and west. Okay. Now the frequently used land facts. These are facts. These are things that you're going to want to memorize. What would that be? 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Now 1 acre is 43,560 square miles. That equals 1 acre. And 1 square mile is 640 acres. That might come up in the test. That's something you're going to want to know. Okay, so
question, actually.
Who's that? Isam. Hey, Isam.
Yes, it's me. It was
Yes.
a test question.
It is a test question, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Isam. Thank you for validating that. And by the way, that's probably the only time you're going to use that during the test. It's important to know it, so just memorize that. Now, here's the diagram, okay? This is the method of sections. Let's take a look at this. It's a little unique, and I want to explain to you why it's this way. You notice the first one, number one, okay, in this box, the green one, number one is in the upper right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner. Then number two goes from east to west. Number two, okay, well, from right to left. Number two is right next to the left of it. Number three goes on, and it goes on till 6. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, where does 7 start? Right below it. Why doesn't 7 start here? Well, for that matter, why didn't 1 start here? Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the reason why. When they created this method, okay, they actually walked it or rode their horse to it. Okay, so they set their marker here. They went out 6 miles, set a marker there. Went out 6 miles, set a marker there. Once they had 6, rather than running back this way, what they did is they just dropped it down once, right? And then from here, they went 6 miles, marked it. So they just went that way. And that is the reason why you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, drop down, 7 to 12, drop down, 13. See that? You can just imagine them walking it or riding their horse across, right? It only made sense once they hit the end, they just drop it down. So a township, this is a township, 6 miles times 6 miles, 36 square miles, and there's 36 sections right here, 6 miles, 6 miles, total of 36 sections. 1 section equals 1 square mile. 1 section equals 1 square mile, okay? Equals 640 acres. 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet. And then the baseline is from east to west. That's the baseline, okay? And the meridian is from north to south, okay? Follow that? So just remember that. Now you will have a copy of this in your portal. So this might be something, either screenshot it, but just remember that because this will come up. It may, I should say, it may come up on the test. Some people who've taken the test says, yeah, they got this one. So it's really important to have this, memorize it. Okay, there's also what is called the lot and block survey system. This is a legal description of a piece of land. A legal description of a piece of land is always included when property is transferred by sale. A legal description of a piece of land is always included when a property is transferred by sale. It's found on the grant deed, the quitclaim deed, and the preliminary title report. A plat map helps in locating the actual lot that a property sits on in comparison to other homes in the area. So why is this important? Because they have to identify it. Because remember, there are no lines. It's imaginary lines. You have to be able, if you're a surveyor, or if you hire a surveyor and there aren't any fences, they need to be able to identify the property. Okay, so in a plat map, every preliminary title report will have a plat map and it'll identify where the property sits on this plat map. Okay, very important. Now, here's a reminder for you guys, okay? Not all textbook material is covered in class. You need to be accountable and review the textbook material, complete the online quizzes. Online quizzes will reflect the textbook material. And here's the good news. Online quizzes are open books. So let's hit the brain game. Okay, first question. California became a state in what year? Anyone?
1948.
1850.
Wait, who said 19?
1850.
1850. A little bit further back from 1900. Okay, 1850. Okay, next, the bundle of rights consists of UPTI. What is UPTI? Anyone? What is UPTI? It is, I'll start you off. Use,
possess, transfer, encumber, enjoy.
Okay, awesome. Use, possess, transfer, encumber, enjoy. Very good job. Thank you, everyone. I heard several voices there. When personal property is added to real property, it is called what? When personal property is added to real property, it is called what?
Annexation.
What?
Fixture.
Annexation. Did you guys say annexation?
Oh.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, next. Which acronym do we use to determine if an item is a fixture? Which acronym or which tune?
Maria.
Maria. Bonus. Who can sing it for me? Darn, I was hoping. Okay, Maria, right? Next, it is immovable. It can be land. It can be fixture. It is what?
Real.
Real property.
It's real. It's for real, man. It's real property. And lastly, the last question of the night. What does APN stand for? And it is not Social Security number. What would that be?
Parcel number.
Assessor's parcel number. Thank you, Annette. Assessor's parcel number. Okay, so second and third month students, we've just completed chapters 1 and 2 of the principles class. Okay, now for my new students, for those who are interested in finding out what the next steps are, if you want to move forward, please stay on. And for my students, you guys are welcome to stay. If you have any questions, I'm going to wait for about 5. Let's see, it's 8:51, 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation for the new students. But for my returning students, if you guys have any questions, certainly now's the time to chime in. So let's see here. Okay, does anyone have any questions for me? Anyone, any returning students?
Nope.
No? Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. This is your
Good.
third month, yeah?
Yes. Beginning of the third.
I know. Can you believe it?
I can't.
It's hard to believe, right?
It's been good. Yes.
It has been good. Good.
Yeah.
So you survived finance.
Finance was actually my favorite.
Isn't it?
Good.
I
Yeah, it was
tell you,
fascinating.
I love finance. I love finance. I promise. I try to make it as fun as possible. Is there a time limit on the course exam? Absolutely. Andrea, the question, the answer to your question is on the actual, wait a minute, the course exam. Are we talking, if you're talking about the state exam, okay, so the state exam, you have 3 hours and 15 minutes. 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete the test. The test.
I'm talking about so I'm on my second month. So I was supposed to take my first month's course exam yesterday before the start of this, but had to update my driver's license information to log into the portal, and that just happened today. But was just curious of how much time I should allocate to taking that first course exam.
The first course exam.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we're in principles now. So we did practice last month. And so to get that certificate, is there a time limit? Since you said it's open, yeah, you said it's open book, but is there a specific time limit?
There is no time limit. You do have 100 questions to answer. Okay. The ones where you are going to have a time limit because it simulates the actual state exam would be the final exam, the practice state exam.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Did anyone, what are the other 4 categories on our portal? Dennis. Okay, Dennis. All right, here we go. And I'll answer your question, Amanda. Okay, it is legal aspects. Okay, first of all, you have practice, principle, finance, legal aspects, property management. I want to say ethics, but it's not that. Give me a second, guys. I don't remember all of them. I just take them. Hold on a second. Of course, I won't remember it right now. Let me just get it for you real quickly. But there are 7 categories, and I want to make sure you have that. And let's see. Give me a second. I'm just going to log in here. However, don't worry about it, Dennis. As far, if you're concerned, I do know that it is a concern for some people because they're saying, well, wait a minute, we're only taking 3 courses. What's going to happen to the other 4? When you get into your portal, all 7 categories will be made available to you through the portal, and you will be able to get the questions. Now, there are thousands of questions in the data bank within the portal. Every time you take a test, it's going to be a different test. Just hold on, I'm trying to log in here.
Clarissa?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, this is
talking.
Sorry,
Hey,
I have a question. So, like you said, since we only include 1 of the elective out of the 7 total, assuming so approximately what percentage pass what percentage passing do you think someone would get? So it's if they only focus on these three practice, principle, and finance.
No, actually, you're going to be focusing in on everything. All of the questions you're going to be having when you take your practice exam is going to have all 7 categories on there. Okay, and hold on a second. Let me just, I'm gonna answer the question. So let me just finish this one. As far as the categories, why am I not pulling up my categories here?
Nicholas, can you give me oh my gosh.
Hold on, I'm not able to, it's not pulling up. the course. Yeah, I'm not able to pull up, but there are some. So here's the thing. Sorry, Dennis, I'll have to get back with you as far as what the categories are. Actually, what I will do is next class, which is going to be on Wednesday, I will have those categories for you. I don't have them with me. The reason why they say, why we're saying 3, is that you only need to send in 3 certificates to the state to be able to sit in for the exam. However, the practice exams that you're going to be getting through the portal in any of the courses, as well as the practice exams, and also you will have categories that will be all 7 categories. It will include questions and answers so that you will be familiar with it. Plus, it also overlaps. A lot of the questions overlap with each other. Okay, so it's not as if you're going to go into the test with knowing only 3 categories. Okay, if you go through the whole entire course and you do the practice exams and you look at the categories portal, okay, you will have you'll be exposed to all 7 categories. So you're not going to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm only prepared for 3. You're going to have all 7.
Okay, thank you.
The practice exams will also have all 7 category questions in there. So I know, Kenneth, you're new at this one. So we would probably, what you can do is this, if you're not going to sign up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to call the school and have them show you, because I can't give you access, but you're going to be able to have them explain to you or show you the portal that shows all 7 categories. Okay. All right. Now let me go back. Let me answer some of these questions here, and I've got 3 minutes to do so. Let's see here. Where's the material found? The material found, the material where you're going to find to learn the other 4 categories will be in your portal. It's on there. Okay. All 7 categories, questions, answers, explanations are in the portal as well. How many days a week are we expected to be in class? That is something, Amanda, that we will be answering, but to answer it directly, 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday. Let's see. Is there a time limit on the course exam? I think we answered that already, Andrea. Okay, so it's 8:57. Before I go on to the next, to the presentation, does anybody have any other questions for me besides the next steps? Anyone? Okay, we're good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get on to the presentation. Okay. All right, so here we go. Now, basically, how does our training work? Okay, there's going to be the in-class and online. What we're doing right now, this is a simulation of the classroom since we are not able to go into classrooms. So for the next 3 months, or unless COVID-19 stops and we're able to go back into the classroom, I will be your trainer for the next 3 months. Okay, we're going to be coming in through Zoom. Now, once the in-class resumes, then you will go to the market centers, to the classrooms closest to you. So I teach in the Burlingame office. However, the materials I teach will go straight across California. So regardless of whether you're in Southern California, Central Valley, or in Northern California, the materials we use will be something that will be used throughout the state of California when you take your test. Okay, our in-class and online supplemental programs is a 3-month duration. Okay, course offered in class would be the real estate practice, principal, and finance, and it's called a rotational schedule. So as I mentioned before, I have some students who are in class today who are in their 2nd month, some are in their 3rd month, and for most of you who's in this call right now, most of you, it's your 1st month. So it's rotational. So some people say, well, golly, I'm going to miss 3 classes this month, you know, does that mean I'm going to miss it and then I start next month? No, you can just start next month. Okay, so that's what you can do. So it's a rotational schedule. The course starts at the beginning of every month, and we meet for 3 weeks. The 4th week, it's an off week. That would be the week where you catch up as a student. You catch up on your quizzes and finish your finals, so that this way, the following month, you've got that out of the way. Okay, and we're going to cover 1 course per month. So right now we are in principles. Next month we're going to be studying finance, and then the month after that we will be going over practice.
Clarissa, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there like a timeline for us to get our quizzes or exams done, or any of that stuff, like work that we have to do?
Well, there's the recommended one. The recommended one is to try to keep up during the classes. So today we're going over two chapters. Next, on Wednesday, we're going to be going over 3. We go over about 5 to 6 classes a week. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into the portal and see which chapters you're going to be studying. If you need to or want to have a copy of the syllabus, you do have access to that in your portal. But if you want me to send a PDF, then send me an email requesting for it on the subject line, put in syllabus. But I'm going to put in my email address again here so that you can see it. Okay, so that you can send it out. But that's basically what you're going to be doing. You'll be going over 3 to 5 chapters a week. Ideally, you want to keep up with the chapters, but if you can't, you do have, if you're not able to keep up with everything, you do have 1 year from the time that you sign up that you have access to the portal. Okay, so I will have some students that, after, they haven't even finished the first module and they're already on their 3rd one. It's up to you. It's a self-study in that respect, that you will have access to your portal for an entire year. So you're going to want to finish it by the end of the year so that this way you'll be able to access it and do the practice exams before you take your actual exam. So the pricing options, if you're going to take the in-class or in-Zoom class, it's $399.99, and it's a supplemental. And then if you want the supplemental in-class training, and if you want to do a payment plan, they do have payment plans where you can break it out into 3 payments, and there's an additional $25. Now, included in the program will be your online portal. By the way, that online portal is important. That is your resource for a lot of things: the tests, the practice exams, the ebooks, all of the other things that you will have in there. That's going to be important. So you want to go into there. And then when you finish, how to process your RE-435, which is the form. They have a tutorial for that. I also help you out with that. So included in the program is your online portal, the state exam prep courses. Very, very good. If you take the state exam prep course, every time you take it, it's a different test because it pulls questions from the thousands of questions in their database. So that's really, so you're always being exposed to different questions. Simulations of the state exam, again, as I mentioned, and then ebooks, electronic books. This way it's really good because you'll have the books right here. This is pretty heavy. It's pretty hefty to be able to carry it with you. Much, much more convenient. I have both simply because I like to actually take notes and mark up my book. I'm old school that way. But I do like the convenience of, if I was to just read it, I have it in my phone. Okay, you never know when you're going to be standing in line. And then, of course, you can also just take the online course, and that comes out to $154.99. This is an online package in the exam prep. You just don't get the in-class or the Zoom class. Okay, so that would be it. Now, there are some add-ons that you can take as well. You can purchase the hard copy books at $51. That's all 3 of them. You can also purchase the course video. That means there's a video for each of the classes. It's not going to be my classes. It's our head trainer, Robert Rico. And that one you can purchase for $129.99. And also we have the crash course video at $150. Now, earlier I alluded to this. Do you need to take the crash course to pass the test? The answer is no. It all depends on your discipline, on how comfortable you are when taking the test. You have exam prep courses that you can take. I mean, a simulated state exam, you can take those and see how you do. If you're comfortable with it and you're scoring 85 and over, you may not need the crash course. But if you just need that little bit of assurance, then you can take the crash course. We do have that. For students, I believe there's a discount of $25, so it's actually $150 for the crash course. If this is something that you want to do and you want to move forward, what you're going to do is you're going to register. You just go into www.carealtytraining.com, or you can call the number, 888-317-8740. Okay, you can just go ahead and call that in. They will take care of you. As soon as you call in and make your payment, they're going to download, or they're going to give you access to the portal, and you can get started with it. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. So here they are. If you're going to go into the monthly payment plan with the ebooks, first payment $144.50, second payment $140, third payment $140. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Becky, your class is, what is meant by supplemental in-class training? Supplemental in-class training. Let's go back to that one. Where's that one? The supplemental in-class. Oh, so basically right now, the supplemental in-class training. Right now, typically, if you are going to register for in-class, we are in class. We are physically in a classroom. Okay. Due to COVID-19, we cannot be physically in a classroom. The offices will not allow us to go in there. Okay, simply because of COVID-19. So this is called the supplemental in-class training. So we are not in class, it's a supplemental, we're doing Zoom. That's what that means. Okay, is it 6 classes per month, Aida? Yes, it is, Aida. Is Aida? Did I pronounce that right? So it is 6 classes per month. That's Mondays and Wednesdays for 3 weeks. Okay, and let's see, anything else? So 6 months, there you go. And I think that would be it. Yes, Aida. I'll get it. So anyway, so that would be it. Does anyone have any other questions?
I do.
Yes, who's that? Hey, Rochelle.
Hi, yes. How long does it take to get the textbook? And how does the course video differ from your training? I know the difference would be you wouldn't be able to ask questions, but you know, it'd be the same material presented, right? Just a different person.
So here's the thing. That's a really good question. Okay, your first question was, I don't want to miss that part.
How long it takes to get the textbook, because I don't like to write every single thing down.
Right.
I guess there's a second part to that question too. If your PowerPoints are available to be printed from the portal,
Yes.
so at least I could be ready where I'm not trying to rush to write down everything you're saying.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's true. This is why when during the in-class, I actually hand out the PowerPoint presentation in a note format. So to answer your question, it is in the portal. It's a link in the portal in the discussion board. It says printable presentations. Click on that and then you'll be able to have it. The syllabus is also in the portal, so you'll be able to pull that up. How long before you get the books? Well, if you order it tonight, they're not going to get the order until tomorrow, right? So basically, however long it takes for the mail system to get to you, USPS gets to you. I don't know how. I mean, I remember it's hard to tell how long. I think it took about 3 to 5 days.
I actually ordered mine on Friday and I got an email today that said they shipped them.
Wow. Yeah.
So maybe I don't know if it's always going to be that way, but it would seem like a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, it takes about 5. But in the meantime, you do have the ebooks. Okay, and within the portal, you also have access to the PowerPoint presentation. And also what I tell my students is that if you guys want me to email you a PDF copy, send me an email and then I'll go ahead and send out a PDF copy, but it is in the portal.
Okay, and then the other part would have been the comparison between the video versus your Zoom meeting.
Yes, so okay, so here's the thing. In the video, they're also going through the same materials that I'm going through. And if you will notice, one of the things is that they want to make sure that there's a consistency in what all the trainers teach. So you will see me, I'll go off and talk about something personal and then, or something current events, and then I'll pull back into the presentation. They want to make sure that we go over the presentation. So the presentation wise, as far as the PowerPoint, all the instructors will go through that. That would be the baseline. Now, the difference would be as opposed to someone like me or somebody like our head trainer or my counterpart, let's say Veronica. What makes our class different from the video is the video was shot based on, I believe it's Robert, either Robert or Ian. No, Ian is crashed. So based on Robert, the things that he's going through, because some of the things that we bring in as instructors, as trainers, is the deals that we're dealing with. I can tell you right now, it's not going to affect your test, but this video was recorded prior to COVID-19. Okay, so right now with the current times, I'll still be going over the baseline. I'll still be going over some of the, the normal and stuff that would appear on the test, but I will also share with you guys, okay, this is what's going to be on the test. However, currently, this is how it is due to COVID-19, or this is how it is in this market because we're in a seller's market, and this is what it is in a buyer's market. So basically, the way it will differ is based on the experiences of each instructor and each trainer. And we all have different teaching styles as well too.
And you'll be the instructor the whole time for
yeah, for the good or bad of it, I will be the instructor for the entire month, actually for the entire 3 months, unless they know something that I haven't told me yet, but I will be teaching this course. And again, the video I believe it's Robert for all of them. And Robert is our head trainer.
Mhm.
Okay, so that would be the one who'll be doing it. So that there's a consistency there. The trainers tend to stay for the duration of the course. So that this way it'll be easy for you guys. Now, there's a caveat to that though. However, let's just say on the third week, they open up the buildings, they open up the offices, and now students are going to be directed to the offices. Then whoever the instructor trainer is for that office will be it. Clearly, since I'm in Northern California, I teach in the Burlingame office. So students in the Northern California area that's close to my office, they will have the option of continuing in my classroom, or they can go to San Francisco, or they can go to Oakland, because those are the other two offices where we're teaching. Clearly, if I have somebody in Southern California, they will not be able to come to my class. They will be going to a classroom that's closest to them. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Can I go back to the payment plan? Yes, let me go ahead and do that one. Payment plan would be right here. So what they do is it's $399.99 for the course. You can choose to go into a 3-month payment plan, and the first month will be $144.50. Okay, then the second payment will be $140.25, and then $140.25 after that. So listen, let me tell you, for $399, you know, whether I would love for you guys to be able to come, but really think about this. Taking the course at $399, and then you're also going to be paying for your test. You know, where else can you get the kind of education that will give you the ability to make hundreds and thousands of dollars, or whatever you choose to put into your business, okay, and get it for under $1,000? Seriously, to be a realtor, okay, after you get your license, you know, your overhead or your startup cost is very minimal. You have to have a cell phone. Oh, let me check. You already have that. Everybody has a cell phone, right? Okay, you have to go out and get a laptop. You probably have that already. Okay, so I mean, even kids have a laptop and cell phone. Okay, those are the two main things that you're going to need to be able to do this business. You can pretty much do this business anywhere. I was just, you know, prior to COVID-19, I opened and closed the transaction while I was in a cruise. My mom's a travel agent, so I occasionally will help her, right? So I'm literally in a cruise, and I did my contracts in this. This is my cell phone. I wrote my contracts on here. I was online. I needed a Wi-Fi. Just make sure you have a Wi-Fi. I did this. I was able to write up a contract and close on a transaction while away. I mean, that's pretty easy if you think about it in a sense. Negotiation, that's a whole different animal. Compliance, that's a whole different animal. You need those are the standard have-tos. But I could be someplace. I don't have to be in my office to be able to do my business. As a matter of fact, they don't want you to be in your office. They want you to be out there meeting people, going out and looking at properties. Those are the things that we ought to be doing, not sitting at the desk. Okay, has there been any discussion about a possible hybrid course? Should classrooms open up? Can you have an option to Zoom rather than go into an office? You know, I've been thinking about that. That's a great question, because I've been thinking about that, because I'm like thinking, you know, sometimes if my student wants to finish with me, can they do it? I would imagine that when the classroom opens up, I would imagine that there's going to be like a camera there where I'm going to be teaching in the classroom for my in-class students, and probably be shot live, or however way they call it nowadays, where they can, my Zoom students can still, you know, Zoom in. Is that the word? They can still log in or whatever. I think there would be a hybrid. There's no talk of that yet, but certainly I know that's something that they're kicking around and thinking about as well. As far as payment plan, do we know? Oh, on something regarding the payment plan, I don't know about specific dates and things. When you sign up for that, I would highly recommend calling that 888 number and speaking to Keon or somebody who will be able to assist you with the enrollment. They'll be able to go over that with you. And then let me see if there's anything else. So this is, okay, great question, Vanessa. I like this question. This is my first class session. Are we using the same Zoom link for the rest of the session? No, all introduction class is, if you will notice, people were just coming in. Okay, there's no waiting period. They just, when they register in and they put in that Zoom number, that Zoom ID, boom, they're in here. That's because it's an introduction class. However, on classes 2 to 6, starting on Wednesday, it's going to be a different link. And when you do, and that's going to be a link that's going to be sent to you when you register and pay for the course. Those will be closed Zooms. So what happens is that you're going to be sitting in a waiting room until I let you in. That would be the only difference with that. But in an introduction class, anybody is pretty much on. Whoops. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, Vanessa. And let's see, can you go back? Okay, I did the payment plan. Okay, I think I may have answered all the questions already. Thank you, Samantha.
Yeah.
You had your books within 4 days. That's really, yeah, I heard it's about 4 to 5 days. But in the meantime, you do have your ebooks.
Sure. Excuse me. Quick question for you. So adherent to doing, yeah, pleasure to meet you. Hey there. Adherent to just doing the online course, I noticed that there's 2 ways you can go about it. So you have the Zoom, what is accommodation with for the $399,
right?
And then you just have the online. It says exam prep as well. Like, is there anything else additional that if I per se were just to go with the online classes, is there anything else additional that I need to buy? Because I mean, I'd buy the book and whatnot, but it's like I noticed you would get the portal, would you, or how would that?
Yes,
go?
if you're gonna do online, you will get the portal as well too. Okay, so it's not as if you get the online, you just get the books and you don't get anything else. No, you will still get the portal. It's very important because the whole entire course is driven through the portal. Okay, what you will not receive is you're not gonna get me. No, I'm just kidding. You're not gonna get the in-class basically. And this one, it's really, I mean, some people work really well online. Okay, youngins do. Someone like me, I just need to have that interaction. But the thing is that if you're able to do a course and be able to maintain it online, then absolutely do that, because it's going to be the same course. There isn't anything different. The only difference is that when you get the in-class, you do have the benefit of being able to talk to me, ask me any questions. Here's the better part of the benefits that you will get. You'll have access to pretty much everybody who's here. When I say access, you get to meet them. I mean, virtually meet them. I mean, I'm looking at Rachel. I've never met her at all. I've never seen her, but now I know what she looks like. I know who Rachel is. Right? I now know you. Here's the thing. On my last month, I started opening up the gallery. Okay. Normally I would just have the presentation from the beginning to the end, but I realized you guys are missing out on a big aspect of having in class, which is getting to know and networking together. And I'm thinking you guys can network with people across California. Use that as a network system. Absolutely. And last month 3 study groups started up, and they would meet together on phone calls, by text. They supported each other, and guess what, I had 10 people finish within days of each other their courses because they worked together. And I worked with 8 of them in sending in their paperwork to the DRE. So when you're working in groups and in study groups, it's just like in college. When you meet up with study groups, you get to work together. The sum of all parts together is greater than just the one person, the efforts of one.
Absolutely.
So that's what you get.
See, and I was curious because I work well independently and when I'm going off online, whatnot, but would it still be the 3 months that I would have to do, or per se if
same thing? Yeah, it's still the same thing because you still get 3 because you can't binge and do everything in one weekend, right? I mean, with COVID-19, pretty much anybody can just kind of binge and get through it. However, the DRE requires, it's a DRE requirement that you have to spend a certain number of hours before you can move on. So, if you wanted to binge, you can just go ahead, binge, and then at some point, boom, it'll stop. You can't move forward because you've maximized the space. Now, I do have some students who wants to accelerate. They can accelerate, but again, they're going to be hitting up against that roadblock, where it will stop. And then you just check it on a daily basis until you're able to get back in, and then boom, just go for it.
For sure. And pardon, one last question, I'm out of your hair.
That's okay. So don't worry.
You guys said you guys need election classes and whatnot, and like college level, and I have an education already. I mean, that can't be applied. It has to be these classes specifically, or?
Some of the classes are applicable. You would have to call the DRE to determine which ones of those are going to be transferable, which can be used. What I would do is go onto the site www.dre.ca.gov. By the way, I was told by 2 of my students that was an actual test question. What is the DRE website? And they give you .gov, .com, .edu. The actual I don't know that. I didn't realize that was a test question. So the answer is www.dre.ca.gov. So you go in there, there's going to be a contact contact where you can find out which of your college courses is transferable. Okay, but you definitely have, you're required to take practice and principle. And if you took that in college, then you're done with that. Okay, so you're going to want to find that out. And they'll be able to be the ones to answer that for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions for me?
Clarissa,
Yes.
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully this will be a quick one. I just have a question regarding, because there's a lot of reading as I've looked at the text. If you get behind on your reading, for example, if I'm not caught up in the first 3 weeks and then the 4th week's about review, what is your recommendation in terms of, do I move on to finance, or do I get caught up and then take finance later? Or because I've paid for a 3-month course, is it consecutive 3 months?
No, so here's the thing. Listen, the course was prepared with you in mind. And when I say with you in mind, I don't get students straight out of high school or straight out of college into this. Typically, the ones who take this class at 7 o'clock at night, okay, typically have a life after this, such as responsibilities, such as children, such as a job. Okay, so it's geared for you. So basically, yes, the recommendation is keep up with the reading, and that's 5 to 6 chapters a week. Okay, do all of the quizzes. And like, I'm losing some people. I see some eyes glazing over. So here's the thing. Remember, I took this class when I was like 7 months pregnant, okay? And I was not into reading at that point. Here's the thing. This is what I will say, and I'm very specific about this. If you fall behind on the reading, I would rather that you just go straight to the quiz. The quizzes are open book. Straight to the quiz. It's open book. Open book. Okay, that means you can do the quiz, you can look back and answer it. Just answer it, just pass it, just get 60%. What is that? 6 questions out of the 10. Answer 6 correctly or 4 wrong. If you don't know an answer, skip it. Now you only have 3 wrong that you can get for that chapter, okay? So just do that, just stay with the quizzes, okay? Now, Clarissa is not saying do not read the chapter. I want to make that very clear. What Clarissa is saying is if you're going to fall behind, rather than giving up and stopping, okay, just take the quizzes. Because as you review the book, because it's open book, as you review that to get the answers, you will be able to somewhat review the chapter. The other thing too is once you complete everything and you've never completely read a chapter, when you submit your DRE application to take the test, to the DRE, there's going to be 6 to 8 weeks minimum before you hear from them for you to schedule your test. In that 6 to 8 weeks, start reading, go over the questions, do the exam. The thing is, you just need to get the chapters so that you can get into the final exam for that module to get the certificate. Okay, so I feel you when you say, Clarissa, that's a lot of reading. Okay, it is. So if you can't keep up with the reading, hit up on the quizzes. Okay, and now I want to make it clear, Clarissa is not saying do not read the chapter. If that goes back, I will say that is not what I said. Check the recording. Okay, but I'm saying is if you fall behind, rather than giving up, do the quizzes.
Okay, and you were just saying something interesting too about the applying for the license or to take the exam. What is the wait time right now, given that we're in COVID?
Okay, I do know that when I looked at this, when I looked at the DRE, and by the way, in the DRE, it'll tell you which applications they received their processing. So when I looked it up last week, they were doing, I think April 9th, applications that they received through April 9th is what they were processing. So again, it's about 6 to 8 weeks from the time that you send in your paperwork. Okay, usually after a couple of weeks after they either cash your check or charge your credit card, you will be in the system to be able to take the test. And I would highly recommend that you choose the test date rather than having them choose it. And the reason I say that is because if by chance you do want to take a crash course, or if by chance you do want to be able to study a little bit, you have total control as to when you're going to take the test.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the test taken in person or online?
It's still going to be in person.
Oh, okay. And then
They have to properly identify you. By the way, you just brought up, I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Rochelle. Let me just, before I forget, if you're going, when you sign up, make sure that the name that you register under is the same name that you have on your driver's license. The reason being is that your certificate is going to be issued under that name. And if you show up at the test site and the certificate says one thing and your driver's license says something different, they're going to make you either change the certificate, but you will not be able to take that test that same day. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that the certificates should have the same name that shows up on the ID that you will use to go take your test.
And if a person doesn't finish all the material or doesn't pass, is there a fee to start it all over again, or how do you work that?
Okay, so are you talking about if you don't pass at the DRE
exam?
Okay, so here's what when you take your state exam, what's going to happen is at the end of it, you turn in your mouse, you get a mouse, you turn in your paperwork, then they will hand you a folded piece of paper, and they're going to hand it to you, and they're going to say, please read this. Do not read this here, read it when you get to the elevator. Okay, you open up that paper and it's going to say pass or fail. Okay, if it says fail, it'll tell you what percentage you got correct. If it's a pass, it's not going to tell you how much you passed by. Okay, but if you happen to, and you will not, but if you happen to get one that says you did not pass, my recommendation, go right back in, pay the $35 fee to retake the test and schedule it out. The reason I say go right back in and do that, because if you do not do that, you're going to go home and you'll say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Next thing you know, a year had gone by. I actually have one student who's taking it July 17, taking it mid-July, and she was one of my students when I first started teaching this here. That was
I meant more of the program, like the training program.
Yeah, you have access to the portal for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you pass that, if the 1 year has come and gone and you're not completed yet, you just contact them, and I think there's a fee to stay on. They will charge you that, and again, that's a DRE because there's a certain timing that the DRE will put an expiration on. So if you need it, they'll go ahead, they charge a fee, and then you'll have it for another, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, I'm not sure.
Okay, but not the online classes, just the portal.
The portal, yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, the presentation that we just went through, it's in the portal. It comes in presentation format, it comes in note format, so you will have access to that. So for those of you who, let's say you're going to miss 1 or 2 classes, you already have the presentation with you. You have the syllabus, it's going to be all in the portal. And if you really feel that you want to be able to see a video of it, or you would have wanted to have been in class, you can purchase, I think per class, I think it's like $5 per class that you can purchase for that class. Again, it's going to be our head trainer, Robert Rico. Or sometimes I think there might be some classes that are on Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe you can jump in on that class to be able to make up for it.
So that was my question. I work Monday nights. And I may miss like an hour or so of class on Mondays. So would I be able to jump into another, like a Wednesday, Thursday class if there's a Wednesday class?
You know what? Well, there is a Wednesday class. It's a Monday, Wednesday class. So I believe it's Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
So if you're going to be if you're not going to be available Monday, you might want to check out a Tuesday, Thursday class instead. I mean, I would love to have you in my class, but if Monday you're going to miss out, you might want to do that. Or you might just ask if you can purchase the video every Monday. You know,
maybe I'll just purchase, because I would miss like tonight, I missed like the first hour because I was still at work. So I may miss like an hour, but my days off are Wednesday, Thursday. So even if I did Tuesday, Thursday, I would still be missing some portion of
how do you pronounce your name?
Ikea.
Ikea. So Ikea,
Yes.
Guess what? You are actually in luck because they typically do not do this, but for tonight's class, I actually recorded it. So
Okay.
if you want to chime in on the first hour or just watch the whole recording, contact the school and ask them what the link for this video. I don't know when it's going to go up. I don't know how these things work. You can check tomorrow, or yeah, maybe you can check tomorrow. I don't know how quickly these things go up, but you can check tomorrow and on YouTube and see if you can search for this class.
Okay.
California Realty Training Principles Intro, and then you might see it. Okay, and there might be others as well too.
Yeah, I have a quick question. It's
Okay, yes,
along
yeah.
the same, it has the same along the same lines. I'm off at 7 for work on Mondays. I mean on Wednesdays. But if I have somebody that's in the same class, can I just get notes? I'm only going to be like about 20 minutes late.
Yeah. So here's my recommendation. Start getting to know each other. Turn up your, turn on your video so you guys can see each other and start doing study groups. I kid you not, it's really powerful to have those study groups because you can encourage each other. Like Gary. Gary says he's not going to be there for 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes of the class on Wednesdays. Is that correct? Yeah. Was that what you said? Yeah. So the thing is that if you're in a study group, okay, you guys can share notes. Okay. So that could be something that you might want to be able to do. So, probably not tonight, but maybe on Wednesday, if you move forward, we will be opening it up 30 minutes prior to when class starts. I open up the classroom, and that's when study groups, and that's when, people start talking to each other. And then that's pretty much what we do. I'll tell you, one study group that I had, it had 5 people in it, and I was able to place 5 of them in different offices already. And some of them, even though they haven't even started their classes, are actually already working, not working as a realtor, but starting to learn, starting to get some of the training material from the brokerages that they're going to eventually go to. And all this because they banded together and studied together. They finished together. It's just a matter of taking their exams separately. Okay. And these are all not from the same area. These people I have 2 people from here, Northern California, and then one was in Calabasas, one is in Encino, and the other is in Monrovia. So they kind of studied together, they banded together. So that's really important. If you can do that, that'd be great. I would say I would do that maybe on Wednesday, because on Wednesday, that's people who are taking the classes, they're already all on there. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have anything else for me? We're good. Thank you guys. I really appreciate your taking this Monday night with me. I really appreciate that. Hopefully, this is something that you want to move forward with. If you do, please contact the school and go ahead and sign up, or, go online and sign up there. As soon as you sign in and make your payment, you're going to receive an email giving you access to a portal, giving you your login, as well as your initial password, and then you'll be able to get started. Okay. And then for those of you moving forward and you do want the syllabus as well as the presentation notes, send me an email. Let's see here. My email is, I don't know if you guys can still see it there, but it's Clarissa. Hold on, I'll type it in again. Clarissa at California Realty. Whoops, that's Realty Training.com. Okay, send me that. Send me an email, subject line syllabus and PowerPoint presentation PPP, and then I will just go ahead and attach those things to you, and then you'll be able to print them out, and then you'll be able to follow. I'm not sure which one was the one that said that you couldn't write it, but at least this way, maybe if you're still here, that should be able to help you out.
That was me.
Is that you, Rochelle?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Send me that email. Okay.
Thank you.
And let's see, how many chapters do we read a week? 5 to 6. 5 to 6. And I would have to take a look at the syllabus for that one. And can you discuss how Keller Williams trains and mentors new real estate agents? What does that look like? Oh my gosh, Rochelle, I could probably keep you guys here for another 30, 45 minutes. But what we can do is we can do this offline. I'll be more than happy to sit down with you. And actually, it's, I'm not saying this because I'm in Keller Williams, but I am in Keller Williams because of this, I should say. One of the things I came into Keller Williams and I had already been a 10-year veteran. I've already been doing real estate for 10 years. However, there's a lot of benefits in Keller Williams, but the one thing that I'm really keen on is compliance and training. Okay, because of my background, that's basically what I really look for. That's important to me. And Keller Williams has the infrastructure and the support system, such as mentors, productivity coaching, and also classes that you have access to offline as well as in class. They have that where they can take somebody who's absolutely new, knows nothing, and as long as they follow the classes, the courses, and what the recommendations are of their coach, the mentor, and the manager, and the broker, and they follow that, and that newbie can become rookie of the year, not just in the office, but company-wide. They can do that. You know what? Then they can do this. By the way, that happened to one of our newbies in our office, and that was 3 years ago. He's got a really great team, and they're very successful. They pretty much dominated a city, okay? And he's been capping every year, so he's doing really well. And he built a team. So he's got a team, an infrastructure. And this is somebody just 3 years ago was a newbie, okay? So, do we have the infrastructure? Absolutely. Do we have mentors? Absolutely. I can sit down and go over that more with you, because it's going to take a while, because I love to talk about our program and stuff. So we can go ahead and do that. So shoot me an email, and then we can schedule a time where we can go over that. We can Zoom it in. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Let me see. Let me make sure I got everything. Did I get everything? How would you say California Realty training differs from other schools? I think we're the best. No. I'm only familiar with one other school, and that was the one that I took before I became a trainer here, before I got my license. And that was actually, it was an in-class classroom. And that was in San Francisco. They're no longer there. There are other schools available. I don't know what their materials are, but for the most part, I would probably say I can only think of 3 people who did not pass it, who told me they took it and did not pass it. 3 people, and 2 of them went back and took it. The other one is still kind of studying. She's nervous, and so that would be the only one. I'm not saying that I have 100%, but of what I know, because I do try to check in with everybody. Of what I know, some of them would have to take it a couple of times, but you know what? They passed. So can you do this offline? Absolutely. I think it was Isaiah who asked about that. He thrives in being able to do it offline. He has that discipline. You can do it that way too. Okay, but there are other schools out there available. I just like ours because it's really geared towards people who this is not what they do. They have a job, they have kids. This is something geared for people who does not have the time but wants to be able to complete this. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Let's see. What do we have here? I think does the school help us in office placement? Oh, does the school help us in office placement or hands-on training? I can tell you right now, you are not going to be short of anybody inviting you to come and take a look at their brokerage. The minute you send in your paperwork to take the exam, you're going to start getting letters from brokerages. They're going to try to have you come in and do informational interview. And that would be really good. Now, once you pass the test, you're going to get a ton of calls coming in because they want to interview you. They want for you to consider hanging your license with their brokerage. Okay. The school is not going to be the one who's going to place you. They're not going to actively put you in brokerages. They're not going to do that. That would be up to you. Now, however, if you were to say, hey, Clarissa, I really like the infrastructure of Keller Williams, I'd like to be able to see if I could, which office I can go into. What I would do is I can help facilitate. I will sponsor you in, and I can help facilitate for you, the student, to meet with the team lead. The team lead is the one who's in charge with growing the office. And then I can facilitate the introduction. You guys can talk. And then if you decide that you want to hang your license with them, then we will put them as the designated broker on your application. And then that's it. You go from there. Okay. So that would be pretty much it. As far as hands-on training, that would be as close to hands-on as that I can help in placing people within Keller Williams, because that's the organization I'm with. But trust me, you guys will get letters from many brokerages as soon as you send in your paperwork, and especially after you pass your test. And then you'll be able to meet all these other brokerages. My recommendation is do an informational interview, have a set of questions that you're going to be asking them. And as you go through the course, we do touch on these things a little bit. And then on the end of the third month, afterwards, we do this Q&A where I will sit down with them and do the Q&A. And then when it's time to fill out your application to send in, you contact me, schedule a time. I look over your paperwork, make sure that it's completed properly, and then you can send it in. Okay.
How long did you say it takes? I'm sorry. Once we pay to actually begin, if we start, online now with you, and we haven't done any of the reading, aren't we already behind?
Not necessarily, because you can always when you first sign up, like today, you guys are going to sign up today. You did not have access to the material. So right now you have to read 2 chapters, and then by Wednesday, let's say you sign up tomorrow, by Wednesday, you're going to need to read, I think, about 3 more chapters. Okay, I think we're going 3, 4, and 5 on Wednesday. Okay, so it's like, Clarissa, I just got my materials. I haven't even finished chapter 1, and already at the end of Wednesday, I'm going to have 5 chapters to read. You've got the weekend. Take the weekend. You've got until the weekend, until the following Monday. If you still fall behind, you've got the next weekend. The thing is, it's also self-paced. Okay, so and if you're falling behind, you're like 8 chapters behind in reading. You know what? Hit the quizzes. Just hit the quizzes. It's open book. Hit the quizzes. Get through it, because you want to get through it. Okay, and if you happen to be one of those that you really want to accelerate, then just keep going until the portal tells you to stop. It'll stop you. It'll not let you move forward. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I have a quick question about the quizzes, really quick. Okay, so let's say we get behind in the reading, and we take the quiz anyway, and we don't pass the quiz. How long? You may have already answered this, but how long before we can take that quiz again? Is it immediate?
Are you taking the chapter quiz?
Or
yeah, take it again immediately.
Immediate. Okay, cool. Okay,
absolutely. Give it a try. Let's see. I was going to say come back on Wednesday and check it out, but I think it's going to be a different login. I don't get my login until like the day of, because they changed the logins. So, think about it. If this, if you still want to think it through, but you want to sit in on the Wednesday class, but you're still uncertain, go ahead and call in the school and see if you can sit in on the second class. Okay. I don't know if they will let you or not. I know in the classroom, people will come in on Wednesday and sign up on Wednesday. I'm not sure how to do it on Zoom, if that's something accessible to you, but give it a try. Talk to the school. If you're not ready to jump in, tell them your hesitation. They'll be able to, they'll try to work something out with you guys. Okay. Okay. So I believe it's 9:42. If there's no other questions, I shall bid you all good night. And then I hope to see all of you guys on Wednesday. Okay. I will be on at 6:30. So for those of you who's going to move forward, come on at 6:30. We'll have an open forum like this. 7 o'clock, top of the hour, we go right into the class. We take a break, same thing, gallery, and then after that, a little bit after the classroom. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. I'm so glad you guys stopped by. I hope to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Bye. 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 Bye.